Hi, everybody. They're kids, and I'm Joe.
I'm Derek.
And I'm Matt.
And we are the host of Beats, Balls, and Bourbon, the official podcast for the official drumline of the Lou City supporters. It is an honor to be back here once again for our 8th show.
I believe so, yeah.
I don't even know
I don't
anymore.
even know anymore, but it's been going quick, and it's been a lot of fun. Thank you for all of the great comments. Thank you for all of the help. You're going to be hearing little kids in the background, okay? We have a couple of young men that are here having a good time, so that's just going to add to the atmosphere. To the
they just met about 15 minutes ago, and apparently they are just chums from back in the day.
Right, and within 10 seconds, they were hanging out together on a chair,
watching
videos, sitting next to each other. And every time I try that on a date, it doesn't work out. So I don't know. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm a little over enthusiastic when it comes to dating.
You need to watch more
Minecraft. She doesn't like Minecraft.
Yeah, you need to watch more Minecraft videos with your dates.
I hear you, man. Derek, how are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good.
Excellent.
Little tired. I was on the road a lot today.
Right? Little frazzled.
I was on the road a lot.
Yeah. Got the kid
I did about 150 miles today. So,
nice.
Yeah.
And things have worked. I was going to call you today because I thought you were going to come to my building today because we had a printer go down.
Oh, wow.
So
it's probably one of the other technicians.
Well, yeah, it's our building has all kind of issues, but Derek has been kind enough to use his apartment here, and he had the kid here, and we've been all kind of off schedule. We're going to get back on schedule next week. It's a little easier when we don't hear the frolicking of voices and stuff. So I want to thank you so much for letting us use your place.
Absolutely.
Matthew, how are you, sir?
I'm pretty damn good. I did not drive 150 miles.
You did not drive 150 miles. How many miles did you drive?
Like 12.
That's not. That's a lot less than 150. Works good.
If that works, great. I got a big project done.
Nice.
So I've got a few weeks of just kind of chilling. So
right.
Something's going to break is what I'm saying.
Yeah, right. So the second, absolutely.
Had a great trip up to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, man, we're gonna talk about that. We're definitely gonna catch up with that.
We are?
Yes, we're gonna talk about Pittsburgh.
I heard a lot about that.
Yeah.
I need to start going to Pittsburgh.
You do.
And I'm doing well. I'm doing okay. Actually, just off the cuff. Obviously, you guys that watched the show last week. First of all, thank you so much for 2 weeks ago. It seems like a while ago. It was only 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was a tremendous show. We had Dr. Mark Lynn on. We had John Neese, chairman of the team, and then we had the folks from Harbor House to kick off this mini marathon fundraiser. And the mini marathon fundraiser has taken off very well. We already have, I can tell you right now, about 18 people that have guaranteed that they're going to participate in some manner. With another bunch of people interested. And that's before the website even goes out to reach out for the folks that are going to go directly to Harbor House, because the people that are going to run and walk for Harbor House are going to be part of our deal too. So please think about doing it. I've already started training. Want to let you know to help keep myself accountable. Started training fairly recently, already down 13 pounds.
Nice.
Well, that's not bad. That's a good start. Long way to go. Very long way to go. But you got to start someplace.
SAF.
Right. And we'll talk about the Harbor House deal a little bit when we get to the segment about fundraising. Also want to let you know, you all have been asking about the link, an audio link of the show. And I have been trying to set that up, and we had gotten 3 or 4 of them lined up, but all of a sudden it wasn't working. We've got that fixed. So if you're interested in an audio-only version of Beats, Balls, and Bourbon, it is now on iTunes. Just look up the name of the show or look up Groove Machine, and you will find it. So if if you're driving around like you all drove up to Pittsburgh and you need something to listen to, you can listen to an audio-only version of Beats, Balls, and Bourbon. And once again, as you know, we upload this to YouTube as well. What I'm going to ask you guys to do is, even if you don't get a chance to watch, if you watch it on here and maybe you don't watch it the rest of the week, go on YouTube just real quick and give us a like on that. Maybe subscribe to our channel. I haven't been mentioning that too much. And the more you do that, maybe the more views we start getting, make this a little bit more popular for everybody involved. Also mentioning, this is going to be magic. Watch, when you rewatch the show, make sure that you follow the hashtag. I'm going to point right there.
Right here?
Yes, and that's where the hashtag is going to be.
So you're turning into a real YouTuber now.
I'm an idiot. I am such an idiot when it comes to this stuff.
Make sure you smash that subscribe button.
And click the bell icon to get notifications.
Exactly. But those of you that have given comments and stuff like that, thank you so much. Those of you that have been loyal, been watching every week, really, really, really appreciate it.
And we do not read the YouTube comments because we value our sanity and self-worth.
Do we have YouTube comments? That's when
you don't know, and I'm not going to find out.
That's when you go big. You're big time when people start talking mad crap about you on YouTube.
I've seen like 1 or 2, and they're all, and it's very small things. Sounds great, nothing bad yet. yet. It's coming because we're gonna do a special show about somebody, and who knows what's gonna happen with that. So trying to get all this business out of the way next week. We're going to be doing a show next week, and then we'll get back on our regular 2-week schedule from there. We already have committed to doing a show next week. Davina Vowles. Now, Davina is, I want to say, the controller for Louisville City. She's the financial
Comptroller?
comptroller. Did I say that? I didn't say it correctly.
I think you said controller. I'm not entirely clear on the distinction.
You and Martin, what do you think? Is it comptroller?
Comptroller is the term we use on our side, but it basically means controller. So
Okay, so we went to Martin French because you're a linguist. I enjoy the way you speak.
I like playing with language. All kinds of language, clean and dirty.
Nice. So the comptroller of the team is going to be here, and want to hear a little bit about what her role. I'll tell you right now, she does a lot of work, not just with the money thing, but with everything that she does to get for the game day experience. They all do. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed, Evan Floyd out there before the game starts setting up friggin' the signs and stuff like that. She's one of the guaranteed guests. And then the next show, October 3rd, a guy that we really need to have on here because he deserves a lot of credit. Dave I'm going to say his last name wrong. Walkovic. Dave is the ticket guy. Dave is the guy that's responsible for tickets. And you want to talk about a person with no staff or very little staff that has done amazing work over the last few years, making sure that the tickets are done correctly, making sure that you have your envelopes, making sure that you have all your requests. Because let's be honest, we can be a little picky sometimes. and
extremely insanely picky the rest of the time.
Right, exactly. Dave has no downtime, and he deserves a chance to get in front of a camera or something and talk about himself and the work that he's done. He really deserves that.
Yeah, we're just going to have him on here and apologize profusely.
Dave, we're sorry.
Serve him bourbon.
Dave, we're sorry. We really want it to be in section 331, not 113. Well, we don't have a 331. What do you mean? That's your fault. I'm going to call the office. You're going to be fired, boy. Dave does a great job, and he deserves some airtime, and he deserves a chance to do that. So we're going to have Dave on here on October 3rd. A bunch of supporters that were lining up. One of the things that we loved doing was having that roundtable a couple shows ago. And what we're doing is we're going to be mixing and matching some groups together from Scouse's House, from the Coopers, from other groups, hopefully Black Sheep as well, whoever wants to be on here, and get you all to hang out with us and talk soccer and talk about things that you like to do and how you got involved. We're going to be doing a lot more of that. And then we have today, obviously, Martin French, we just mentioned, who was one of the original members of the Coopers. He's going to tell us, I'm hoping, can really give us some insight on what that was all about back in the day. And then we're going to have Martine, right? Valencia is going to join us for the second segment, along with Martin French. It's going to be Martin and Martin. I was hoping we had two Lewises. That we could have had like two Martin and Lewises at the same time. You got to be 50 plus to get that, sorry. Then we're going to have Martine here. He's going to talk a little bit about himself. A little conversation about soccer culture in other countries. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. We have John Harper, who's going to be here at 9 o'clock to talk a little bit about his own, what he's been doing. John's done a great job. All our capos. We had Katie, his outstanding wife here for the second show. She was great. Comments, guys. If you want to, we have a comment section up here. You're more than welcome to join us and make some comments. Even if you don't really like it a whole lot, we can handle it. No, we can't. We're going to be brokenhearted.
We are delicate flowers.
You better like it.
But other than that, I think we've covered. I want to make sure that we're getting all this. Oh, the one thing we didn't do is make sure that we're plugging the other podcasts. We have Barrel-Proof Podcast, the Cooper's Podcast, which is the sort of the godfather of Louisville City podcasts on Tuesday. We have Scouse's House, the In the House podcast, which usually comes out Thursday.
Yeah,
right?
they record it on Wednesday. It comes out Thursday.
Right.
Usually.
Derby City Final Judgment, Jordan and Jay, usually on Mondays.
Sort of Monday?
Monday, whenever they do it. And then technically the radio show is Soccer City Radio is technically a podcast, but it's not. It's kind of, it's on a cage station. So to me, so please make sure you're checking them all out. We've had plenty of guests from all of those shows pretty much. I got to get Jordan on here. Jordan Cooper has to come on the show. And, make sure you're supporting them as well. The whole idea of this show was to make sure that we're supporting each other. This is not a technical show. If you've never watched before, this isn't about heavy technical content. You're going to find that out as you watch it. And
We can't do that.
no,
We don't know.
Yeah.
But I'll have you all know that our studio is fabulous.
yes, it is.
Yes, it
It is good. You got barrels over there. You got scarves over here. You got guests sitting over there. You got a bass drum over there. So we've really enjoyed doing this for you, and hopefully you're enjoying it as you watch it, whether you're watching it live on Facebook or you're watching it on YouTube where we upload it there. And I know we are still in the process, and we're going to continue in the process of trying to migrate this into a larger platform, although you'd still watch it on Facebook, right? Isn't that the whole deal? If we get the setup on another. So, it'll be the same no matter what, but we just want to reach out to as many people as we possibly can.
Hey, Jen has a question that I think we can address really quick.
Absolutely.
What's everyone's thoughts on this new the Louisville City USL? What is it? The Culture Collection jersey, the bourbon jersey.
I'll go first.
Have you seen this?
Yes.
I kind of like it.
I think it's
really-
cool. I don't like that it's orange, but
Yeah, but
it's not orange.
it's
It's,
not-
bourbon amber. It's that color. It's
Right,
not.
It's not technically
Why not
orange.
drink it?
I don't know.
Boil it in water and drink whatever comes out.
Yeah, really. It's
Maybe not.
it's sort of an earth tone orange as opposed to like a bright orange.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I think it's a good looking jersey.
I wanted to
I would
start.
buy one. I'd like to. It'd make a good third kit.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I wanted to start some crap on Twitter and said to start a conspiracy theory, and said that the reason they're going earth tones is because they want to go brown because UPS is going to start sponsoring us, and they're going to make purple, all the purple go away. I just want to see one. I'm just trying to fish.
That would start
For
some
one-
kind of a
that's what
civil
I'm
war.
saying.
Like
I just want one person. Come on, there's somebody out there. What are you Twitter warriors? Come on.
bad enough when they found out that there were no seats in the all standing supporters section.
Right. After we've been
like-
talking about it for 3 years.
Now we're going to go from purple to brown.
Yeah, can you imagine?
What?
So, folks, we're just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, we're just kidding. So don't take that serious.
Mhm.
All right.
Brown jerseys confirmed.
Yes, but that would be. But I know I actually do.
Yeah.
It's confirmed. Awesome. But so we're gonna get rolling. Like we said, we have Martin coming up in a few minutes. But we're gonna get rolling here with something. Usually we do a little Uncle Luigi. I'm sorry. I'm gonna try and talk. Would you mind talking for about 30 seconds while I set this up, please? About anything that you'd like.
I have no idea what I like anymore.
Yes, you do.
I don't
So
have
how
any.
about that NXT Takeover UK? Did you see
There
that?
you go.
That was pretty good, man.
I didn't get a chance, but I hear the Vaulter match was really good.
They were all pretty.
Yeah.
I mean, NXT is always impressive.
Yeah.
I like that. I like how they've got everything put together. I'm real big on this whole Bray Wyatt the Fiend thing right now. So I'm sure everybody else is too. But
Mhm.
it's like the greatest thing going on right now.
Really?
You have a favorite NXT UK person?
No, I like Rhea Ripley a lot. I don't know if we're talking about the women's division or whatever, but she's pretty awesome.
For me, it's Pete Dunne. I mean, he just is
Oh,
on
yeah.
a different level.
Yeah,
He's
Pete
like-
Dunne's great. The bruiserweight.
The bruiserweight.
Nice.
And he's got that intensity, and it looks like he's actually doing whatever he's doing as
Yeah.
opposed to just a ballet like some people like to do.
So there you go. We just had a little wrestling minute there,
Mhm.
which is awesome. Okay, so last week, as you know, we usually we have Uncle Luigi or we do a song parody or something. But you know what happened last week? A 0-0 draw.
I know, I was there.
That did happen.
Okay, let me tell you something. This is the last bastion of American in me when it comes to soccer. I friggin' hate 0-0 draws. I just can't. I just can't. There's something about it. I think somebody. Is Martine? You at the door?
Yes, Martin.
He wasn't sure what door to come in.
I absolutely despise 0-0 draws. I'm to the point in my life, like I think, and I know all the Euro people out there are going to freak out when they say this.
You
Because
know what?
I hate when we Americanize things, but you know what I would do? If I had a league, 0-0 draw, you don't get any points. 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw is nothing if you don't score a goal.
I don't like
It's the only sport in the world where you can score points and not score points.
0-0
It's
draws.
upsetting.
The only reason that I don't like a 0-0 draw, like legit, is because it gives that guy in the bar ammo that hates soccer because they don't
Right.
score.
Exactly.
And
Need to do multi-ball.
yeah,
I'm sorry. It's the one thing about soccer in this country that it's that little tiny piece in my little tiny brain that just can't let go of it. I can't stand 0-0 draws. So
You sound really vehement about this.
I am.
It's almost like you're prepared to bid or something.
just wait till my rim shot. Yeah, and it's like we have a bit.
Oh, people are trying to loophole us in the chat, by the way.
What do you mean?
Lauren Pasmino, she's trying to say Brad Estes in the chat. Is that's a
one time.
loophole?
We'll do it one time. Brad Estes.
It only works if we quote the chat.
I'm gonna air drink. I'm not drinking tonight, so I'm air drink.
So what we decided to
This
do.
is clear. It might be water.
No,
Yeah, give it a shot, kid. You thirsty?
when Lincoln is when my son is in my presence, I do not drink.
That's
Fair
good.
enough.
Good man.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go, folks. So I asked the guys, I said, look, let's come up with a list of things that we hate. Or that, I guess that we love more.
No, we hate things we like better than a 0-0.
Yeah, things that we like, quote, air quote, more than 0-0 draws. So this will be dripping with sarcasm and amazing humor. I'm sure it will be.
Wait, did you say like more than a 0-0?
Yeah,
Yes.
things we like better
So
than
the
a
whole
0-0
idea is if
draw.
you like something that's really awful, that
Better
means you
than a
like that
0-0 draw.
even more than a 0-0 draw.
I may have made my list things that I hate more than a 0-0.
That's
draw.
okay. When you say yours, you can make sure that you say that.
Okay.
I
I was very scatterbrained.
That's okay, man. But I think we're ready to hit some music. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a list of things that we hate, love more than 0-0 draws. Here, I'll start. Something that I love more than a 0-0 draw is cuddling with a porcupine.
Wow. Something I like better than a 0-0 draw. Not knowing how to play a snare drum while I'm at a soccer game playing a snare drum.
Oh.
Something that you hate more than a 0-0 draw.
Something that I hate more than a 0-0 draw is people that give the middle finger and stick their thumb out with it.
No, what is that? What are they doing? That is ridiculous. There's rules. There's rules. Something that I love more than a 0-0 draw, calculus.
I like calculus.
I hate you right now.
Okay. I feel like that's fair.
Go ahead.
No, I think so. Something I like better. That feeling you get when you lean way back in a chair that you almost fall, but you catch yourself.
Ah.
Ooh, yeah. One other something that I hate more than a 0-0 draw is people that put noodles in their chili.
What is that? Wait a second.
Think about that.
Is that bad?
Do you do that?
I think so.
You're terrible.
No, you can put chili on top of your spaghetti.
It's
You
not
just
chili.
don't call it- you
At
just
that
don't call
point,
it
it's not chili. It's spaghetti
Spaghetti
soup.
topping.
Spaghetti topping.
Something that I love more than a 0-0 draw is enjoying the flagrant aroma of someone who passes gas in an elevator.
Ooh,
Nice. I also have an elevator one later.
that happened to
Okay.
me last week.
No.
Go ahead.
Something I like even better than a 0-0 draw, a dude at karaoke singing a Yoko Ono song.
Ooh.
Good play. Go ahead, man. Something you hate more.
Referring to all bearded men as hipsters, I do this because I like it, not because everybody else is doing it. Come on,
Stop that.
get out of here.
Something that I love more than a 0-0 draw is a quizzically fanciful stare from a German Shepherd in heat.
Oh God.
Yikes. Is that a situation you find yourself in often, John?
Depends if you go to the pound. Go ahead.
Okay. Even better than a 0-0 draw is that frozen chunk in the middle of a hot pocket.
Yes,
Ooh.
that is bad. Go
It's
ahead,
like,
man.
oh man, I don't even want to describe that.
That is nasty.
People that don't. It's something that I hate more than a 0-0 draw is people that don't understand zipper merging on the highway or anywhere else.
Ah, that is true. Very good.
It's a thing.
Something that I truly love more than a 0-0 draw is kissing grandma on the lips after she's had a couple of glasses of wine while she's listening to Frank Sinatra.
I feel like that's a very specific scenario.
I've never done that, by the way.
Okay. Something I like even better than a 0-0 draw. Poutine when I'm not drunk.
There you go.
Have you had that when you're sober? It's disgusting.
Go ahead, man.
One ply toilet paper,
Oh. Oh.
like the stuff they put in the office. You know.
Something that I love more than a 0-0 draw is a beginner's violin recital.
Oh. I love even better than a 0-0 draw. Forgetting to roll up the windows when you're driving through Cincinnati.
Ah, nice. Nice. Something you hate more.
Coconut.
You hate
Okay.
coconut?
Fun fact: when I eat coconut, Apparently, I'm allergic to it, and I projectile vomit like
Oh
The
my
Exorcist.
Gosh.
Yes,
Okay.
it's better than Epicac.
Something that I love more than a 0-0 draw is that tender moment you share with a zombie right before it bites you on the face.
All right.
Go ahead.
Something I like more than 0-0 draw. Skinny dipping in Lake Erie.
Ew.
Nice. Something that you hate more.
People that employ micromanagement strategies at work.
Oh, yes. Pretentious people. I have a pretentious one. Okay. Something that I hate more than a 0-0 draw is people who give you dirty looks when you giggle at an art exhibit. I mean, these are people that just need to get slapped. Shut up.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the art in my own way.
In their defense, you probably should have yelled out, "Boobies!"
Go ahead.
Something I like even more than a 0-0 draw. Watching a game on Indy's field.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is pretty nice. Go ahead.
Dating websites.
Those are the worst things ever.
They are.
They are truly the worst things ever.
But I have made some really good friends.
Something that I love more. Something that I love more than a 0-0 draw is being pecked in the groin by a wild turkey.
Ouch. Something I like more than a 0-0 draw. Being in an elevator who thinks that body spray is shower in a can.
Ah, too much. Too much body.
Too much.
What do you got?
Elevators.
Elevators. So
Just to follow up, elevators.
So we all have issues with elevators. Something that I love more than a 0-0 draw is skimming a pool with my face.
You just like the taste of algae or something?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Something I like more than a 0-0 draw when the stadium runs out of beer.
Oh, that is the worst.
I've run out of things.
Okay, I got one. I got two more. One more. Something that I love more than a 0-0 draw are people who can't decide on whether they should paint their sunroom magenta or lavender.
Ooh.
Now those are pretentious people.
I'll solve that for you real quick. No, you shouldn't.
Yes, thank you. You got one more?
No.
Okay, I got one more. My last one for this edition of things I hate or love more than a 0-0 draw. So things that I love more than a 0-0 draw because I hate it so much. The "I believe that we will win" chant.
Thank you.
Do they still do that?
Yes, they do.
Really?
Yes.
Well, they can stop doing. They can stop doing that now.
Oh, I thought of another one.
What?
Sorry.
When somebody says, "Let's come up with 10 each," and then he comes up with 30.
Nah,
Seriously, I'm looking over here. My God.
I had a creative spurt.
Is that what you're calling
I'm going to save them. I'm going to save these two. No peeking. You can't peek.
I've already peaked.
Oh, damn it. You're a peeker.
It's all downhill from here. I've completely peaked. We're done.
That's pretty good.
That was something.
That's a keeper. I think anytime we have a 0-0 draw from now on,
Oh, God.
we have to do this.
Okay.
So that's a keeper, folks. Hopefully you enjoyed things that we enjoy or hate more than 0-0 draws. And it was kind of a hard game to watch.
Ooh, people that refer to it as goose eggs.
No,
Oh.
yes, that's part of the list.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gosh, they got goose eggs.
Shut up.
Love. You know, love.
Yeah. Oh,
Shut up. I don't see a net in the middle of a freaking court.
can we add one more to that list?
Please.
If you are not Iceland, then do the.
Oh my gosh! I so hate that so much. I hate that. I hate that.
I'm sorry, I've clearly triggered.
I hate the thunderclap when they do it in Des Moines, Iowa. I hate it so much. Oh my God. Thank you. I hate that. I don't get it. Why? Now, in Minnesota, I kind of get it when they do it for the Vikings because they're Vikings, right?
Yeah, it
Iceland,
makes sense there.
Vikings. But when you do it in like Santa Barbara, California, I don't think there's any Vikings in Santa Barbara, California. I just thank you for that. You made my night with that. You have
I'm
no
glad.
idea. I hate that so much.
Yeah.
I hate the Viking thing.
I think I got the Steel Army doing it at the game, unfortunately.
Oh my God. Well, there you go. There you go. Because all those,
They're good
because of
people.
all
I
those,
had a lot of hope for them, and then
all those Icelanders in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
They just they
they're
invaded.
the ones who brought their famous dish, the pierogi, over.
But please tell me now,
Movies are so
Matt. Before
good.
we bring Martin on, can you give us a couple of minutes about the Pittsburgh trip, please?
Sure. Had a lot of fun. I think we sold 68 tickets because Howie was actually up there, kind of supposed to herd cats with us or something. Because apparently, if more than 50 come up, the team has to have somebody dedicated to supervise or whatever.
Right. Which I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I really don't.
Yeah.
Like a
No.
chaperone?
As long as they're
Something
not,
like that.
as long as they're not doing that thing with the cop that cop did a couple of years ago at our game. You remember the cop from the county who
The
got
masked
mad at
guy?
the masked dude?
Oh, that guy?
As long as they're not doing that, I'm okay with that because you know something. Let's not pretend that eventually someday that might not be an issue. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
As long as they're not engaged with them.
Yeah.
You know. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but everybody gets along with these things. There's no hostility between Louisville and Pittsburgh. We've got kind of comparable sense of humor and such, and they're a growing fan base, so they're
Right.
yeah, but they're cool. We brought them a couple bottles of bourbon, hung out with them. They had Jello shots,
Right.
so we got good and lit.
Right.
Dollar beer night.
But
Good and lit.
you know,
Yeah. I don't know how to play the snare drum. Did I mention that?
no, it sounded fine.
Okay,
I listened.
good.
You did just fine. You stepped up and you showed out.
I got lucky.
No, you
got
did
lucky.
fine. Kathy, I'm thinking Rebecca played some too. Did you?
Rebecca and Kathy took turns on the bass.
Excellent. Thank you for all of you that did that.
Mhm.
I love the Groove Machine. I really do. This is a great team we have here. Now we were going to.
Please, some snare drummer comes.
You guys,
next
I'm getting ready to call a little bit of an audible here.
Uh-oh.
You guys okay with that?
Sure.
We're going to do a segment with one Martin and then kind of have two Martins. I think since both Martins are here, why don't both Martins come on at the same time? You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
So we have two cheers. So we're going to have the Martin and Martin show.
Where you fancy going?
So Martin French and Martin Valencia are both here at the same time. And you know what? Sometimes I feel bad because, we make somebody sit there for 30 minutes and they don't do anything. But they're both here and we might as well both, well, I think this,
I can take.
Martin, why don't you come over to this side? I think we'll be okay here.
Yeah.
Hopefully you all had a good time with that segment. I think that was kind of fun. And so we have about an hour. So that'll be great because they're 45 minutes. And that'll give both guys a chance to do their thing. Martin Valencia. Thank you, brother. Thank you for coming. Martin French. How are you, sir? We have these representing the past and still the present, obviously. Has nothing to do with your gray hairs. and your
Yes.
chin.
No. They
If I'm going to sit here and talk about gray hairs, I got nothing to say.
Yeah.
Nothing to say. But Martin was one of the original Cougars. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Martin Valencia, you came on once the season
year
started.
two, yeah.
Year two. So I thought it'd be kind of cool if we talked a little bit about the past and what led us up to there. So thank you guys for coming. Hope you have a good time. We have booze. So if you feel inclined,
They only tell us when we sit down. No mention of the booze while we're sitting there.
That's awesome.
Normally they
we
get you
haven't started
started
up
before
the
you go on.
segment, so.
Yeah, we haven't started the segment quite yet, but
And
Anyway.
someone might say Brad Estes, so you're going to need it.
oh,
Well, what
We
we should
toast
probably
every time
do is
we sit
when one of us starts talking, we are in a pact to continue talking till the other one has a drink. I think that's the fair way.
Yeah.
so I'm going to start with
Totally
Martin
reasonable.
French. Martin, how are you, sir?
Very good, thanks.
Thank you
doing?
for
Good
coming.
to, Brett, thank you for inviting me on, by the way, Jimmy.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Anytime, because we love people. We love having people on with Italian accents. It enhances the show tremendously.
Yes.
So we're going to start with you first. So, and we ask everybody that comes on the first time to tell us a little bit about themselves before they came to the first Louisville City game.
Well, most of my life is before the first Louisville City
I
game.
hear
How
that,
much of myself do you
Go
want?
right in. Tell us a little about childhood.
Back in the mid-70s, no.
Yeah.
I came to...
My dad was a pirate. That was a dirty
That's next
Derby City
week.
Roller joke. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Nah.
Please
Well,
continue.
I actually, I think the first year of Louisville City, I made most of my living as a pirate professionally, believe it or not.
Nice.
Between working at Boo and the Zoo, I was the mascot for the sort of semi-national team that existed here before, which was River City Rovers, then
Right.
Derby City Rovers.
Right.
And I mean, bombing along the coast of Somalia, taking in whatever I could. That was a great living. No, I came here to Louisville in about 2011.
Okay.
Moved to the States in 2010.
Originally from?
Originally from Ireland, but by way of I was originally very rural Ireland, then up to Dublin, across to London in Britain. Different place. Britain, Ireland, not the same. Just before anybody sends in that question, because I get that the whole time. Oh, you're British. You're English. No, I'm Irish. Oh, British then. No.
No.
But yeah,
Especially rural to London.
yeah, a bit of a difference. A bit of a difference. And then came across first to New Orleans, just in time for the 2010 World Cup, which is when I think, in a real way, I mean, this is of no disrespect to the many, many soccer fans before and after that, but I always maintain the US getting cheated in, I think, the Algeria game in particular, exploded football here, because there's nothing like to bring a community together around the game like feeling you've been cheated.
Yep.
If the US won that World Cup, it'd have been a big deal, but no big deal.
Yeah.
Getting
Right.
cheated,
Helps.
it was amazing, because the team down there was now an NPSL team, back then PDL, called the New Orleans Jesters. And there was an okay attendance, but not great. Akin to, I mean, there's League of Ireland teams, which I follow deeply, who don't get as many as they used to get. But there was just so little interest. There was no buzz. But after the World Cup happened, going to the games, there was an added fiber to it, if you know what I mean. So I came up here, and one of the things that my wife got a job up here, because I mean I work in theatre, which means, well, I'm not getting paid.
Right.
But I came up here.
You mean a living in the arts is skint? Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, put it
I've
this
never
way.
experienced that ever.
There's a reason we both have beards.
Hear that?
And anyway, I came up here 2011, and I was thinking this city's got a fairly vibrant theatre community, not a very well-paying theatre community, but that's c'est la vie, c'est la guerre.
Right.
But what I did, the big thing that I was short of was like serious football. No disrespect to the NCAA teams that U of L has. They're great,
Sure.
but it's not the same game.
No, it's not.
I freaked out bodily when I saw 3 substitutions happening in the first half. The first game I was thinking, what is wrong? Are these players injured? They're just casually strolling off. What is wrong here?
And then you looked at the clock.
Yeah. And it
was
hadn't
running the
moved.
It's running the wrong way.
Yeah. It was like somebody was trying to mess with my head. I hadn't been drinking or anything. If I'd been drinking or something worse, fair enough. And then, wait, hang on. All these players are back on second half? I had no idea what was going on. So it's great, but it's not the same as football. The same way that futsal is a great game to watch,
Right.
but it's not football,
Right.
to me anyway. Not knocking futsal, yay futsal and NCAA and what have you.
Mhm.
But it was like I felt very strongly, I'm going to do whatever I can to get any kind of a level of football here. And then I discovered River City Rovers, right before they moved all the way out to
Indiana.
No, it was further, at this side, Shelby County.
Oh my.
Yeah, so they had been playing in Christian Academy, and I went to a couple of games there. I saw Andrew Farrell play for the first time playing for River City Rovers that first season. But I just caught the very end, maybe it was the end of the second season, I can't remember. So I was like, great, I have a team, I'll watch this. It's not great, but it's good enough. Again, I'm a guy, when I was living in anywhere in Europe, it was a case of I'm walking along, if I'm strolling along on a Saturday afternoon, I happen to be walking by a football game, I don't walk by the football game.
You watch it.
I watch it. It doesn't matter if it's 12-year-olds and it's 17-2. It's no 0-0 draws at 12-year-old football. We'll have to come back for a eulogy for the 0-0 draw, because I remember when I used to watch a little bit of MLS when they used to do the shootouts.
Oh, that was brutal.
Well,
I mean, it's fun, except
was
again,
fun.
it's not football.
I'm going to push back on that a little bit, because I was at those games.
Were you?
Oh, I used to go to Cosmos games all
Oh
the
yeah,
time.
of course.
And they would have those every day. Let me tell you something. I know it's not. I said that the only thing the only American thing left of me is that 0-0 thing. 1A is the shootout.
Yeah.
Let me tell you why. Not because watching the build up to that, when they did because do you familiar with that? You know what we're talking about, Martine?
Oh gosh.
What they used to do is they used to start at what they used to call the 35-yard line. They try to invoke this thing with United States soccer where the you could not be offsides before the 35. You know how it's the center line now. In American soccer back in the 70s, they tried this thing with the 35-yard line.
Is that like
to
the
try
end of the center circle or something?
Well, it was in between. It was in
Halfway
between the 18
Between the two circles.
and the whole idea was to
Setting
try and
the
get the defense to open up more so you get more goals. It didn't really work,
Yeah.
and it was stupid. They eventually got rid of it. But if it was a draw at the end of the game, you would start at the 35 and you would run up, just like hockey. Let me tell you something. The crowd, before somebody took a shot, it was insane. It was better than anything in the game.
Yeah.
People would just start going crazy. It was like wrestling. It's like a wrestling match before a wrestling match. Like the guy would start getting ready, and the crowd would boom, boom, boom. So anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, this is great.
Go ahead.
Because I mean, I've never been to them. I remember when MLS started up first. They started.
Oh,
Doing
this is the old NESL.
Yeah, no, all the way back. I mean,
Right.
that's where they took it from.
It looked really bad on TV though.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Just-
clinically. It was silly.
Yeah,
It was silly, but the build up. If you were in a stadium for that,
I could see that.
it
Yeah,
was
I could see
crazy.
that.
I'm gonna switch this way, Martine. I'm sorry.
I'm getting
So-
a drink.
Yeah, he's gonna
Mr.
get booze. So please, sir, before you came to your first Lou City game, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I grew up in Virginia,
Okay.
small town, Harrisonburg,
Mhm.
and the college there is James Madison
Right. Okay.
University, and that was actually the first team that I fell in love with. That is purple and gold.
There you go, James Madison. All right.
It's like his thing.
So, yeah. So I still keep up with them and root for them, but I've been living here in Louisville for about 6 years.
Okay.
Going on 6 years. Originally, I moved from Virginia to Indiana.
Okay.
I was there for a couple of years.
Southern Indiana or Indy or
Columbus, Indiana.
sure. I know exactly where it is. Used to judge a big band show there.
And I still have family there.
Okay.
So, and I've had my sister and brother come down for a couple of games.
Okay. Okay.
For a few games. So
So originally grew up where?
Harrisonburg.
Harrison. Okay. So that was your, and then you come to Indiana, and then you move to Louisville. What brings you to Louisville?
Me and my wife got together.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say I'm going to bring her that lovely woman. She is very cool, by the way. She's a very cool woman. We like her. Tell us how you met her.
Actually, going back to the first segment that you guys were talking about,
Mhm.
through a dating app.
Oh, see now I feel like an idiot because
Me too.
I could right.
That's why I'm here.
You met your wife through a
Dating app.
come on.
She was actually about to leave the dating app because I was going to be leaving London in about a year and a half. She just got on it because she was leaving in 6 months.
What the hell are we doing wrong?
I don't know, man.
I've got a story about it. I'm not going to do it tonight, but
Probably as well.
it's anyway. I'm telling you when I tell you, you won't believe it. Maybe if we have time. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
We
Go
can
ahead.
find time.
But I'm telling you, you'll probably will tonight after a couple of these.
See, it's like a coincidence. We're both Martins.
Yeah.
Right.
And we both know our spouse online.
That's awesome. That's two things.
But yeah, she,
You're both Italian. So you go.
Exact percentage.
Everybody's Italian.
I can't help it. I can't help it. So go on. I'm sorry.
But,
So you met your wife down here or no through there? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, through the app, and she's actually at the time she was living in Lawrenceburg,
Okay.
which Wild Turkey. No,
Mm.
yeah, Wild Turkey, Four Roses, and a couple other distilleries are out there.
Okay.
And our halfway point from where I was living in Columbus was actually Louisville.
All right. All right.
So, yeah, so after we dated for a couple of years, we got together and we moved into the Linden area with some roommates, and for a few years rented an apartment in off of Westport Road. So
Okay.
yeah, we've been here since, and last year we bought a house out in Shelbyville.
Nice.
Cool.
Can I ask what you do for a living? Is that okay?
No, that's fine.
Go ahead.
I work in sales.
Okay.
Inside sales for
Do you sell booze? Because I can make you rich.
some of our customers are distilleries and breweries.
Okay.
We rep manufacturers that make pumps, blowers, industrial equipment.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. And I love seeing you and your wife at games. I mean that sincerely because you guys are so in love. I mean that. I mean that sincerely. You're both wonderful people, and I really enjoy having you both at games and hanging out near us. So I'm really glad that you become a part of this with everybody else too. And thank you for coming on. Now I'm going to spin back this way because I want to know about the Coopers a little bit. Like before, you're in that formation period.
So
Go ahead.
you timed it perfectly because I was practically on the verge of saying. So the other lot, River City Road.
My internal clock is impeccable.
Well, it's like this is perfect. I need a drink.
No woman's ever said that to me. They've never said that. You have an impeccable.
Give them a chance
Internal
to say
clock.
it. Give them a chance. No. So yeah, River City Rovers migrated out to Shelby County because they needed some place to play, and Christian Academy couldn't really cope with them. I mean, I got to see Andrew Farrell play for them.
Right.
but he was the best reason to go to Cincinnati. Oh, except Nick DeLeon this weekend.
By the way, that date
Oh,
that I was talking
Yeah.
about was in Cincinnati. Please continue.
Well, you see, there you go. There-
See, and I'm going to have to talk about it.
Go for Nick DeLeon. Go for Andrew Farrell. Go for any of the ex-alums
Right.
from here. Don't go for a date. No. the one time I brought my wife to Cincinnati for something approaching a date, we went to go and do the Christmas markets there. I like Cincinnati to a degree. Christmas markets there is a joke. But then I'm coming from a European perspective and expecting it like to be a German thing. So yeah, no. Don't go to Cincy for a date. They skipped out the way, and it was a case of okay, we've got no actual, vaguely national team in Louisville.
Right.
This is a big city. This is a city of over a million. There are many countries in Europe who made it to the European Championships that don't have a city of
We're
over
bigger
a million.
than Manchester. If you're
Yeah.
just the city proper, we're bigger than
Yeah.
Manchester. I checked that out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go into the county. Louisville has a larger population than Manchester, and Manchester has two of the
We're
largest.
close to double.
Yeah, exactly.
And I didn't realize quite that.
They're about 450. We're around 800.
Right.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And even including the environment around, I mean, it's got to be close. But yeah, so it's a case of I was getting on anything to get sort of a footballing fix, because no disrespect to ESPN, and this is back 2012, 2013. There wasn't an awful lot on TV. There's it was hungry times.
Right.
I mean, I'd go to the Louisville Lightning back then. Indoor football at Mockingbird Valley, and they had a vaguely sort of a regional level league they were playing in, PASL or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So I saw somebody set up an MLS to Louisville site, and I got a Facebook thing. I got on that, and I was chatting, and as a couple of people, people would say ridiculous and over the top things. Yeah, we need a team now. I was like, well, how is that going to happen? that we can't just say it and it will happen. Poof! It's not like we've got like Don Garber is our best mate or something. So I got told
There's names that we're going to toast to. Like, we will never toast to Don Garber.
no. If anything, I mean,
never.
that's-
If there's anything I feel like I threw up in my mouth a little bit.
well, we can set up a toilet over there or
Yeah,
something.
I'm sorry. Please continue. I apologize.
No, I agree.
apologize for throwing up in my mouth talking about Don Garber.
I have time for the league that we shall not mention by name, but the way it's run, well, that's another discussion.
Right.
That might be
That's a
another
whole different
day,
show.
to be honest.
Hear that?
But either way, I mean, he's not going to be inviting us in because he doesn't care.
Right.
We don't have the money. It's all about the money. There's certain things that are wanted, and to be fair, to have a team in a place, there are certain things you need. I look at the League of Ireland. We can get onto a parallel discussion we won't have today either.
Right.
And you see teams, and they're set up because somebody has money and they've decided we should have a team here. If you don't get the people behind it, if you don't get the money behind it, it's a doomed enterprise. Like Sporting Fingal in Ireland, they won the FAI Cup, our national cup, and they got promoted within 2 years of being created. They were playing against Maritimo in the Europa League, and they did okay. They won one of the games. And then about 2 weeks later, they collapsed because they just didn't have
the
any
money.
reason
Exactly.
mid-season.
So do you think the way the Coopers and Louisville City got started up has been a key
It's
point
been
of success?
it's been an important part, in my opinion. So I was saying these kind of things. Other people were saying things similar, and eventually, JC Sissel. You know JC?
Yes.
We all know
Yeah.
JC. Do you all know JC?
JC
Can you
and
respond? I can't hear anything.
We can't
You have to
hear
speak
you.
louder than
can't
this.
hear you.
No, JC spotted me and John McDonough, who's now gone back to Minnesota, and Taylor Sorrells. And he said, we should talk because you guys seem to actually be appreciating what's going on. And we met there. Now, I give a lot of credit to all of us involved, but JC pulled us together first. And he basically said, we need to chat. And we met in Vint on, what's the name of it, on Frankfurt Avenue, which is actually very near to where I live. So therefore, I was the last person there that day. And we just talked about what it is that football team would need to be successful. Now, at any level, not just at the top level, but even to get into what was then the D3 level or NASL, which was sort of the reboot, that was D2.
Right.
And we've determined, and this isn't hard to figure out, things you need is you need a backer with money. None of us have that kind of money.
Right.
I mean, Theatre doesn't pay that well. We would need probably a stadium if we're to get to any height, or at least a place to play in. And there was another thing that escaped me, which is clearly not important. We would need a fan base.
Right.
And that was where we could come in.
Right.
So even as, John and myself are sort of the outsiders who had less time here, JC and Taylor would have more of a connection, but we were all capable, competent people who were willing to work hard. So at that meeting, we decided, right, what we're going to do is we're going to try and set up a supporters club for a team that does not exist.
Right.
That was what had happened in Orlando. That was what had happened in a number of other places. I mean, at this point, I think it had been 3 years since, for example, St. Louis had a team, but they had a supporters club.
Right.
So the other thing that was very useful in knowing this was JC had also started talking with Wayne Stokenall, RIP.
Mm-hmm.
And Wayne had been involved with Orlando City.
Right.
He'd gotten involved with John Bonner, and who used to be a member of Stokes board over in Britain, and a couple of other people. And they'd just moved Orlando. They'd moved Orlando to moved the team from Austin to Orlando a couple of years. They were having big success, and it was becoming more and more evident that MLS was going to be coming down to Orlando. So there was a possibility that if we could demonstrate that there was an interest here, we could either become the affiliate team or, more ideally, get the team for ourselves.
Right.
So we did have an idea. I won't say from the very get-go. We knew there was a slim chance. There was somebody who, Wayne was involved in, was behind Mockingbird Valley and behind the Lightning. So there was very much a sense that this is a guy who has experience with this kind of thing. He's an understanding of it, and he's got connections. This is the team side of things. If he can get the team side of things sorted, he's also got the wherewithal to probably get the stadium.
Okay.
So the four of us meeting that day, it was a really kind of maybe this is a possible thing. We have something to cling on to. Our job was then, between the four of us, to come up with a name, come with an ideology. We set up a meeting to take place after one of the US games. I think it was against Panama. I have a feeling it's a game that Aaron Johnson scored in. Remember him?
Yep.
Remember him, the future of US football?
One of 30 people that have been the future of America.
He played Norway.
He was Iceland born.
Striker.
Yeah, striker. He'd been with AZ or Heerenveen or somebody
He
like
couldn't
that.
take over for Josie.
No.
And that tells you what kind of situation we're in at striker.
Yeah.
Because
The
every time
US
everybody
had-
that we bring up to take over for Josie can't take over for Josie.
Yeah. And
And we're stuck with Josie.
yeah. And I mean,
I'm sorry, was that negative? I apologize. Please continue.
I like to think
Yeah,
we're there.
we all saw the Mexico game. We understand where you're coming from.
I'm going to steer left a little bit. Martine, you come to the town. First of all, you mentioned that you fell in love with soccer through James Morris. Is that, or was it before then?
Oh, it was way before.
Way before then. Tell me.
Well, growing up, that on the weekends, that's all we had was just soccer on TV, which was mostly Liga MX.
Okay. The 90s, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. So who are the big players? Who are the big teams at that time?
When I was a kid, my favorite was actually goalkeeper Rios. He played for Necaxa.
Okay.
I also followed Guadalajara, Chivas.
Sure.
Yep. Which I don't think they did very good here.
No, no, they're fine now. They just happen to be called LAFC or whatever. It's like Chivas 2.0. But anyway, please continue. And that's as a young kid, your family. How many brothers, sisters? I didn't ask you. You prefer, how big is your family? I've never asked you.
Get back to me.
We'll get back to that.
I've got two brothers and a sister.
Okay. So it's a family thing when you're watching the game. Okay, cool. Please continue. You're watching. You grew up with it. You moved to Louisville. I'm fast forwarding a lot. You come to your first game that the Coopers helped facilitate to getting a team here. I'm jumping a little bit, but what's that like?
Actually, my first game in year one, I had mentioned Sarah. I was like, "Hey, there's some really cool stuff happening,"
Right.
And I was just kind of just dipping my toe in the water,
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she ever really watched soccer or growing up where she grew up. She died hard UK,
Sure.
And the little town she's in, it becomes a ghost town on
Yeah.
PK game.
Sure.
Anyways,
As opposed to the normal times when it's just kind of a ghost town. Sorry, I didn't mean to make fun of Central Kentucky cities. Did I just do that?
There's just couches everywhere.
Yeah, I apologize. Please continue.
They're used to
Ornament
it.
couches is part of the
That was mean. That was mean. I apologize. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and the first game we went to was actually on my birthday, or around my birthday.
Mhm.
She got me tickets, and we had about midfield seats,
Nice.
and it was one of those games where we probably scored 3 or 4 goals.
Right.
And like we saw the Coopers off to the left, and we saw the smoke, the crowd, the noise, the banging of the drums, and we were hooked. Like we just like looked at each other and we said, we're gonna be there next time.
Cool.
And pretty much since then we became Cooper members and season ticket holders, and been coming to the game since. And then one other time, prior to becoming a Cooper, I actually reached out via Twitter because everybody kind of just communicates. to Twitter.
Unfortunately, we've said this so many times before. It's such a wonderful, benign place to build healthy relationships. Twitter is so wonderful for that.
The thing is,
Communicate
everybody's
with
reasonable
yourself.
on it.
What's that?
Everybody's reasonable.
Everybody wants to talk. Everybody
want to hear each other's
they're
side.
open to nice, good ideas, and yeah, it's great.
I can't tell you how many times I've seen like a really good discussion take place on Twitter, and people work out their differences.
Yes, it's
nice.
wonderful. But
The
anyway,
respect is what you got to love.
yeah, the respect
respect.
and the kindness, right, Martin? I mean, I'm sure you've seen.
It's like a commune. It's like
But please continue.
I had kind of thrown just kind of a filler out there, and I expressed my interest in going and tailgating, and I didn't really know anybody or anything, and Wyatt was actually the first person that reached out to me.
Right,
And
weeks.
she,
Good dude.
yeah, definitely. And he took me to a tailgate, kind of showed me around, introduced a few of the people, and then since then I've built some good friendships and
Right.
relationships, and now I'm here.
And to the point where you started a podcast, and we're going to get to that in a second. I'm going to go back this way. When you start talking about relationships and friendships and the culture, how much did that play into what you guys talked about initially when you got together with Wayne?
I think it's vital. I mean, relationships are what make things happen. I mean, it's nice to work towards a sort of a simple meritocracy, but that connection that you have when you talk to a person face to face changes the dynamic of any relationship.
Right.
I mean, it feels like I'm on a business podcast now. When you get to shake the hand and
Wait,
look them in the eye.
Where's a pointer? Do it like this.
Yeah.
Or I could do like this right over our 3B podcast hashtag that I'm going to engineer into this. It's going to be awesome.
oh my god.
I'm so
That's
sorry.
going to end up being your name.
Yeah,
Now.
right.
Oh, that's his name.
Yeah.
Hashtag pilot.
Look right there. It's right there.
Make it work.
I'll do my best.
Well, no, I mean, meeting with Wayne, it started to become real. Now, Wayne, God bless him, is a skeptical guy. He is not a guy who's just going to casually go, oh, you seem like you know what you're doing. So, there was
No,
constantly,
that
he
was
was
not
always,
him.
he was always setting us targets
That
like,
was so not him.
we don't work for you.
Right.
And I mean, and that's partly because he's a driven man.
Absolutely. He
You
was
know,
very, oh my gosh.
And we would go back and forth, and there's different days. Wayne is a saint, and different days Wayne is the devil. Because honestly, he has vision. Now, I don't agree. I didn't agree with all of the vision all the time, but at least here's somebody who wants to take the reins and is going to say, "We're going to do this."
Wayne never had a problem telling you about people he didn't like.
Hear that?
Or fire trucks he didn't like. Wayne. I mean, and that's he's your typical shoots from the hip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that was one very important relationship, is that we were able to convince him that there was an interest. And I mean, we did that by what we did, the four of us initially, and then it expanded and expanded and expanded, was going out and, for example, targeting Molly Malone's on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m., talking to the likes of Scouts and so many other people, and literally sitting down and watching. Now, sorry, folks, I don't really, English football is great and all. It's so much better than it was back in my day. All we had on TV growing up was English football, and I loved football and I would watch it. I wanted our football,
Right.
which is unquestionably not of the same standard. I mean, back then compared to now, there's nothing of the same standard. But so I didn't really bond with any particular team from England. He has picked one, and I think that's going to be us signaled towards a certain direction. Some people at this table may be unhappy with who he's picked. Actually, to be honest, anybody who doesn't follow them will be unhappy with who he's picked.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I saw the jersey he had on when he came in.
You know,
Don't
I was quite happy. Out of nowhere, he picked Juventus. I was like, why? I mean, I like Italian football.
Italian football, yeah.
But I mean, it's not like one of the top 8 or 10 teams I would have picked, but yeah, we go with Juventus.
Juventus was very good at attractive branding.
They do very, prior to this season, they do very good, well-designed kits. This year, muck. Every one of the 3 of them. But, yeah, I'll just say it was after a minute of the Champions League final, and I'll leave it at that. I know.
It doesn't run.
I mean,
it doesn't,
I live
doesn't
in
run-
London,
it
so
doesn't-
I was thinking anybody but Chelsea, I'm going to be practically okay with. I used to live near Crystal Palace, but never went.
so
to
it doesn't. So it doesn't rhyme with you totally suck for pool, does it?
It doesn't run with the first half. Of it.
I don't like him though. No, I'm kidding.
I never liked him. I love him. I
know.
love him. That's why I didn't like him.
That's
Uh,
that's so disheartening. No, I'm kidding.
No, I mean it's like.
I mean, I'm
no,
really kind of
please.
not, but
I mean, it's one of those weird things. He just picks that out and over. I have no idea why we got on that. But either way, yeah. So I'm going and watching Man City against Tottenham, and it's like, I mean, it's so much better football than my days. Like, oh God, can we not watch something original? You know, like let's see a bit of French league, which is generally now gone inconsequential ever since.
Really.
But either way, I'm there, and to be honest, it's where I really discovered a reappreciation of the English league, because I hadn't watched it. When I was living in England, I was going to teams I could pay to watch, because a friend of mine was a Tottenham fan. He was saying back in about 2006, 2007, he gave up going because he couldn't afford a season ticket,
Right.
which is shocking. It's
Yeah,
disappointing.
that's very
So I
disappointing.
was going to your AFC Wimbledons and
Right.
your QPRs and Fulhams and Palace and whoever was on of a given weekend. So it's like I don't even know any of these teams.
You know something? I'm going to interject, and I'm going to get to you about some of the about the podcast, and then I got to call Shauna. But the most popular person on a football team, an American football team, is a second string quarterback.
Mm.
The most popular teams I'm learning from people that are disgruntled with soccer in England are second division teams in England,
Yeah.
because they get so tired of two things. They get tired of teams that can't get into the top 6.
Mm.
And then the 4 of the top 6 teams get really mad because they can't get in the top 2, because it seems like it's almost generational now. But I didn't mean to interrupt you. But
No, it makes sense. And I mean, I'm going to build on that and sell my own lot a little bit. I follow Waterford FC in Ireland. We got promoted a couple of years ago. We qualified for Europe, and then we're told we weren't because the Football Association of Ireland is a massively corrupt organization. And yeah.
There's no corruption in soccer.
unlike-
Stop that.
Unlike every other football association in the world, our one is corrupt.
That's awesome. But do they do the Viking cheer?
No.
I hate the freaking Viking cheer
You-
so much.
You will love this. This is going to sound, by name dropping standards, this is pretty odd. So I was working in Finland we were living in Finland for the last 8 months. This is so off topic. We will eventually get back to topic.
Go ahead.
So I'm working there, and I got a chance to do lights for a theatre festival, and they had comedians coming in from Iceland. And I got talking to them, and actually the main one started talking to me in this really strange accent, and they actually, no, mate, I'm American. He'd moved over there, and it was, I think the shows, it was like people with ADHD and Tourette's and different things. I learned a lot about Tourette's because I had not really any idea apart from what you see on TV, which is nothing like it. But they were saying that they actually, 2 of them and another 3 people were the people who created the Viking chant. Because they just did it because they were drunk and it seemed like fun. And they started doing it. And then Egypt all alongside them started doing the same thing. Because Iceland's a small place. I mean, if the national football team is playing, that's probably the only thing on for
going
2 or
on.
3 months.
Right.
You know, so they're all there. The same with Louisville. I mean, that's the great thing about Louisville. You know, you go to St. James's Art Fair, you go to a Louisville City game, you go to any event, people of all types are there. All backgrounds, all creeds. The goth kids who would never have touched that with their left one in Ireland, they're there. and so it is in Iceland. So they actually created the thing. So I kind of love it for that. But yeah, leave it with Iceland.
Stop. I hear you.
That's their thing.
Okay, we're gonna get to Martine in a second, and Johnny's here. So Johnny, we'll get you on here in a little bit. Appreciate it. But we promised to call Shauna because we promised to do a little angel share for a few minutes in every show. So if you guys want, hi Shauna, how are you?
Fine, how are you?
We're fabulous. Bobo's good.
Yeah, he's laying here chewing on a bone.
He's chewing on a bone. Bobo's chewing. That's a blues tune right there.
He's just under the table yakking on a bone.
Da-na-na-na. Bobo chewing on a bone. Yeah, very hungry for now. Anyway, I'm sorry. So Shauna, you're doing well.
Yes, I'm doing well.
Yeah, you're Bobo's well. You're well. Everybody's well. I'm trying to think of something funny to say here, but I'm failing miserably. Anyway, could you please tell us a little bit about what's going on with Angel Share this month?
Oh, it's a bunch.
Okay, fire.
First, we've got 3 things that are going to be raffles. I'm getting feedback.
You're getting feedback.
Are you?
We're not hearing it here.
Yeah.
When you say feedback, what is it, like whistling or is it?
No, it's I'm hearing myself.
Oh, okay. I don't know how to fix
That
that.
might be the cell
Maybe-
connection. I don't know how I can get
Can we
rid
kill
of that.
that top? Maybe the phantom deal on top.
Maybe, but I don't think that'll help.
How's
This
that?
is it.
Shauna?
Would it work if I put it on speakerphone?
No, that would be way worse.
Okay. So I'm sorry that we got to make you do it with the little echo thing. Is that okay?
Yeah,
I'm
But
sorry.
anyways, we're gonna have raffles and be selling raffle tickets the 23rd and the 28th.
Okay.
The drawing will be at 5:30 on the 28th.
Okay.
And the 3 items that will be raffled will be, let's see, hold on. If the tickets are $5 each,
$5 each. Okay.
or 5 tickets for $20,
5 tickets for 20. That's a bargain.
and you get 1 chance with 3 options of prizes.
Okay. What are the? Do you have any idea what
one
the
of the-
price is?
One of the prizes is an Oscar Jimenez KDF signed jersey.
Okay.
That's that really limited
Oscar
edition
also-
jersey everybody wants.
Yeah, that's the one
pink and
everybody
blue one.
wants.
Yeah.
The second one is Oscar donated signed boots. And then we also have a supporter designed banner
Okay.
that Oscar signed.
Oscar signed a supporter banner. That's very cool.
Cool.
So 3 different tickets will be drawn.
Okay. Very good.
And the money goes to La Casita Center.
La Casita Center. Do we know what that is? Like what?
I'm not really sure. You'd have
Okay.
to go online.
Sure.
I can't remember right offhand.
Okay.
And of course, in October, we've got the Twisted Pink shirts are up for sale.
Right. Twisted pink shirts.
And that charity they're raising money for research for metastatic breast cancer.
Oh, that's cool. All right.
And also, Active Heroes is having a golf scramble
Yes. Michelle asked us to
September
mention that.
23rd,
Active Heroes Golf
Yeah.
Scramble on the 23rd.
8 a.m. at Quail Chase Golf Course,
I may
which
go
is
hack
off
it up.
Cooper Chapel.
I may go hack it up. I may go get thrown off by the third hole.
And they call I don't know anything about golf, but they said it's a 4-man best ball scramble.
Yeah, 4-man best ball scramble is what you do is like you have 4 guys hit, and the best ball of the 4 is the one you play.
Don't you just hit a ball and walk
Okay.
after it?
No, what you do in scrambles and these kind of things is that you put a 6-pack of beer behind you.
Yep.
And then you get to the second hole, and then you ask the guy next to you,
But
got any left?
Yeah.
yeah.
What
Just
happens.
remember,
But if any golfers are out there interested, go to Facebook,
Okay,
find the Active Heroes Facebook page,
okay,
and the information is on there.
okay.
and just remember, the objective of golf is to play as little golf as possible.
Yeah, right. That's true. That is true. Okay, so we have the golf scramble, right? Michelle wanted us to mention that, so thank you for that. Anything else?
No,
Okay.
not.
Are you getting ready for the?
That should be it.
Oh, we also have. I know you're getting ready for the mini.
Yes, I am.
Yes,
Oh gosh.
and then
So-
I know. Believe me, sister, I'm with you. Sunday morning, I believe. Is it Sunday morning? People are getting together to walk.
Yes, this Sunday morning,
Mhm.
10:30, the parking lot of the Bowman Field Terminal
Right. Okay, so Sunday morning, Bowman Field Terminal. At what time again?
at 10:30.
10:30 a.m.
10:30.
And it's Seneca Loop is a 4-mile loop, I believe, right?
It's 4 or 6 miles.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I can't
Actually,
make it this
it's
week,
more
but I'm
like
going to be
6
part
and
of
a
it.
half miles.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, this week I can't make it, but I'm definitely going to be part of that group very soon. And yeah, I want to get as many people
But we want
involved.
to exactly. And we're not doing it for time.
Right.
We're just doing it to work up to the distance.
Exactly. It's a little bit
And
of a
Christy
workout.
Barger and I thought we would work on the distance, and then in January we would work on time.
Right. And that's a good idea, is that you can't start too fast. And the second thing is that I'm reminding everybody that if you choose to be a part of the mini marathon deal, you don't have to do all 13.3 miles. There are teams that are available. You can get groups of 4 people, and you can all do a 5K walk if you want to. And that you could still get involved and still raise money for everybody. This is going to be a wonderful event. And the goal is to make sure that we get everybody that's involved at the field at halftime of one of these games next year and present Harbor House with a big old check.
Exactly.
Well, I appreciate everything that you're doing, Shauna. I really do. You're beyond awesome. And I hate to cut you short, but we're going to move on because we started a little late. But thank you for the update.
All righty.
And tell Bobo to
Talk to
behave
you guys
himself.
later.
Be good, Bobo.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye. Shauna Farmer, who's been doing a lot of work with the Angel Share fundraising. So, Martine, back to you. You got so involved that you decided to start a podcast with that. He's too reserved. Jorge's too reserved. He's a little too calm.
Yeah.
Right, he's a
Sometimes I
very-
wish he'd talk a little more.
Please tell us more about. It's the Luchador podcast, right?
Yeah, it's the podcast Luchador.
Go ahead, man. Tell us.
Jorge reached out to me and presented the idea, hey, we should do a Spanish podcast.
Right.
And I was immediately on board. One of the main reasons was because there really isn't anything like it. There isn't another Spanish podcast.
I'm sorry, buddy. We're trying to get you to speak up a little bit. That's all.
Is that good?
That's better.
And so what really motivated me to be part of the podcast was to kind of expand and bring in a larger crowd and kind of appeal to people who are either fluent in Spanish or just want more Louisville City content, you know.
When you say Spanish, my family's from Spain. Yours is from where now?
Mexico.
Mexico. Okay, I'm sorry.
And and I can't get enough Louisville City content.
Right.
I'll listen to all the podcasts. So being here is a really nice treat, and I appreciate the invite.
Anytime, pal.
Yeah.
Anytime. And so when you start talking about the content, I know that from a cultural standpoint, we're trying to reach out to everybody, right? I guess reaching out to that community, special challenges, something different. What would we want to do? If you're somebody that's not part that's not part from that, what do you think? I mean, what do you do? Do you do anything special? Does it matter? Is it the same? I mean, what I'm trying to reach to is different cultures have different things that they enjoy about the game. And when you do your podcast, is there any focus on anything to make sure the content reaches the people that you're trying to reach, or no?
Not really.
Okay.
We have had some special guests.
Sure.
Like we had one of the ladies from the Spanish local radio station.
Right.
And we had was she like a news anchor?
Yes,
Oh, wow.
from not RQ. I was,
WHS. Or,
yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, Juliana. We've had her. And we had the gentleman from the Al Dia newspaper, the Spanish local paper.
It's a good episode.
That was good. See, I can understand Spanish. I can't speak it. That's a fairly normal thing. I grew up in a Spanish household, and my mother would just rail away at Spanish, and I'd be like, "Yeah." My friends would be like, how can you understand that? But for whatever reason, When it gets to here, it goes back this way. Because I try so hard. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah,
I just made that moment about me. I apologize. I'm so wrong.
And, so that's pretty much the podcast. I know that we're working on a few things coming up.
Okay.
Sarah's been working on kind of doing the design, maybe do a T-shirt or
Okay.
something different than what's currently out there. So that's kind of some of the stuff we got.
So you and Jorge would be interested maybe someday in doing a group video podcast with us.
Yeah.
Only if Jorge brings over another one of those wooden.
Yes,
liquor-
Jorge has to bring one of those liquor things. If he
It's
doesn't
just a
bring-
box filled with liquor and
I mean, I love Jorge to death. I love Jorge.
Thank you, Jorge. You're awesome.
Jorge, I would love you to death. I love Jorge to death. I love Jorge with alcohol more than to death. So,
First, I thought you were asking him to bring the Mataca.
well,
I don't think
anyway,
that wouldn't go over very
That would
good. in
probably
here.
not
No, I think the lights, the fan, and one of us would be on the floor.
so I mean, and in the future, are you looking to beyond maybe working with some of the other groups? What do you think is going to happen with your podcast? What are you looking to do?
Well, right now it's a very casual and kind of informal. I know that he's real busy. He's also going back to school and doing
Yes.
this thing. And I've, for the last 2 or 3 years, I've been working another part-time after my regular full-time job,
Mhm.
like on and off. So we've kind of struggled to keep up and doing a weekly podcast. But I know with September being the Hispanic Heritage Month,
Right.
we definitely need to get together and do an episode. So
Yeah, definitely.
he was actually messaging me right after I got here about doing something.
Cool. Anyway, we're going back to the game. We'll do one more thing, and then Johnny will get you up here because we want you to join us for our special. Actually, you guys got to stick around for this.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
you're gonna have a lot of fun.
Derek and I do not know what this is. So just
Nobody does,
something
but I'm telling you, you're going to have a
on.
great time. I guarantee you're going to love
Can't be good.
it.
No.
Okay, so
Are you offering us a timeshare? You guys are going to have a great time. Trust me.
If this is about Scientology,
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go on a podcast about. We're going to go on a podcast. I can't even say it because you don't even know who's listening. This friggin' world today, you don't know what to say anymore. You start. Last question before we go into the next segment. Did you envision it becoming this big? I mean, I asked Taylor the same thing, and I said, Taylor, I know your goal wasn't, necessarily MLS or whatever. What was the goal? What did you see as the goal when you started?
Well, I mean, the first goal obviously is that we had a football team.
Mhm.
So mission accomplished. The longer term, I mean, our goal for the first year was that we'd have maybe 3,000 people at a game.
Okay.
At a game during the season.
Right.
My hope was that by the end of year 5, and we're coming up on that,
Yes, we are.
we would have
A couple thousand.
regularly 4,000 to 5,000 people. I mean, I thought that maybe a little bit ambitious because at the time, you have to remember, USL was not the big thing it is now. And I know it sounds ridiculous, USL second tier, but it's huge.
It absolutely is.
The teams who are into it are super into it. I mean, there are quite a few. I mean, there are quite a few teams that are incredibly well organized.
Yes, they are.
There's also quite a few teams that have a lot of money and aren't doing anything on the field. R.I.P. Cincinnati. Don't worry, they're just doing the same thing.
Maybe
somewhere
they should do
else.
the thunderclap.
they do.
They do.
They do after the skyline.
That's
too.
good.
No, they do. F.
Oh,
no.
C. Then
I'm
we
gonna
do.
go home now.
R.
Yeah.
They stopped doing it after we did that at the game.
Well, I mean, that was the thing. I mean, we didn't expect that we'd be going to. Well, first we didn't expect to be going to away games apart from St. Louis, and we didn't expect that we'd be able to go to games where there is a 5-figure number there. Like, I think I was at the 25 or 26,000 one that was up the road.
Right.
We would be having that if we had a stadium big enough.
Hear that?
Not for every game, but we would have that. You
Eventually.
look at most of the teams in England. They're not filling their stadium every week.
No.
No, even the top
Certainly, second division teams. It's not like they're all throwing 25,000 in a building. It's not even close.
You go down the leagues enough, and I mean, especially some of the teams that have fallen, you're getting smaller and smaller crowds. It's the same in Ireland. We don't have big crowds. We get bigger crowds on some weeks at Louisville City. Ignoring the official figure and going with the real figure, there are some weeks in Louisville City we get crowds bigger than the entire weekend's football in Ireland.
Right.
Which is, I mean, we have difficulties in Ireland. But I'm going to take this opportunity to say, support a team from not England or France or Italy. So
Okay.
buy a shirt buy a shirt from Ballymena United or TNS or Waterford, maybe Waterford.
Well, I was going to say,
Find a team that you don't know, just follow them.
Irish
It's
fans.
fun.
Irish fans are the most fun fans that I've seen.
Yeah, and
Ever.
we regularly are the most popular fans in Europe.
And it's just they're
We
so
enjoy ourselves.
much fun. And they're just so much fun. What are the crowds like before we go on? What are the crowds like? You said you follow Liga MX. You still do, I'm assuming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crowd sizes. What and maybe even in the lower division. Do you know any?
I'm really not sure.
Not sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know either. I really need to follow that a little more. The reason I'm saying that is because there's an unholy alliance coming down the road between the top Liga MX teams and MLS. Something's coming.
Yeah.
And it scares me. It really does. Not because I have a problem with teams in MLS. I don't like MLS.
Fair enough.
But it's because if they turn this into, it's bad enough that they're chasing money here, you know, and it's become about making a profit.
Yeah.
I mean, Irish teams, I'm wondering, making a profit. I wonder what that means to them versus what it means to the friggin' San Jose's Shaky Grounds or whatever the name of their team.
I mean, football, there's no money in football.
It's not
outside
supposed
of
to be
the
about
top leagues.
Right? It's not supposed to be about how much money you make or something.
And I'll throw this out there real quick.
Mhm.
Like a lot of it is about money because even Mexico will have friendlies that's not against the U.S. in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ireland does the same. Ireland comes over here to play friendlies because we'll get a big crowd.
Big crowd. It's just it's so bizarre. But anyway, we're going to talk some more, all right? But we're going, Johnny, you want to come over? We're going to do a little skit here. I want you to be a part of it. So we'll find a way to squeeze you in on this. John Harper, ladies and gentlemen, is one. What are you doing? You're scaring everybody. John Harper is one of our capos. I'm going to get that right someday.
I'm John.
John, nice to meet you.
Oh
Mark.
yeah, Martin.
John has a highway named after him.
I do.
Yeah, he does.
I do.
So
Nobody can ever say we never met because it's being recorded.
and
I gotta put these on. I can't see.
bef-
It's like I'm getting my senior pictures over here.
Yeah.
so, but first, I wanted to make sure that we had, we try and get all the capos through here. Your wife was kind enough to come on here second show. She was beyond good. She was very good. We'll make sure that the refrigerator is stocked as opposed to the last time. Because do you remember that?
Oh, I do remember
He
that.
sends a message. He's like, "What was it, milk?" You
Yeah,
needed milk?
yeah. Please stop that. We have to communicate somehow. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
there she is.
Way to go.
She's gonna respond.
But we're going to get you involved. I'm going to start. We'll get you involved in this deal. But first, we did a thing for a couple shows. It was we made up a situation where we had players represent wrestlers, and we made up this whole sort of thing where we scripted things as they were going along. It was a lot of fun. I really think it was, and the last one was tremendous. So I figured we would try and do something similar to this, and you guys are more than welcome to help us out. Where we have a scenario, all right? It's something we have. Nobody has any idea what it is. Now the guys that are on here right now are going to be able to hear the music once it gets fired. Oh, we got to get past the commercial. I'm sorry. I'm using a channel with commercials. I hope I don't get in any trouble. But so what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a scenario. Let me. I'll tell you when the music gets going here. First off, John, tell us before we get out. Before we even get into that, tell us a little bit about yourself and everything before you start getting involved with Louisville City. Take a few minutes, please.
Oh, well, I'm originally not from Louisville. I moved here from Paducah, like the western side of the state. So
Okay.
I've been up here for about 10 years, and Katie went to the University of Louisville, so that helped us kind of, she already kind of knew the area and stuff. So lived up here a little while. We remember seeing some Louisville City poster or something somewhere, and I had admittedly not watched soccer much. I actually got into soccer by playing World Cup 2012 on PlayStation 3.
Okay.
That kind of what got me into it. And then, but as I started playing the game and kind of liking the sport a little bit, Katie said, "Hey, there's a team coming down." I was like, "Oh, I don't know." Yeah. I know, yeah, right? Okay. So the first game we set on the first base side, and we kept kind of looking over at the Cooper section and everything, and everybody was having a good time. So we thought, we'll go over there and next game and check it out. And met some cool people, had a good time, and that was it. I don't think we've missed just maybe a couple of games.
And you've been a tremendous addition, and I want to thank you. Like I tell all the capos. I guess it's from. I want to ask a lot more, but I don't want this to run 3 hours. I mean, it probably will. This is going to run late, so I hope you guys can stick around for a little while. But you used to announce wrestling.
I did, yes.
I need to know about. I really need to know about this. Not that I'm trying to build any skits in the future or nothing, really.
Yeah,
But go ahead.
I'm ready to put somebody through this table. Well, when I was back in Paducah, I was working at KB Toys. It was a toy store.
Right.
It was a toy store in a mall. Everybody's going KB Toys. No.
Malls are places you used to
Yeah.
go that had a lot of stores in them.
Stranger Things season 3. So
So you're working for the Russians.
yeah, working with the Russians. That's where we started. So these guys used to come into the store. That was always they always have they had like the eye changing lenses and stuff, and always like dressed kind of funny and stuff. And one day I just kind of like struck up conversation with them because they looked like wrestlers,
Right.
kinda. So anyway, they invited me over to this wrestling. It was across the river in Illinois, where you can wrestle anywhere and not, have to be regulated by Kentucky. And
Seeing Rotten.
yeah, yeah. So I went over there, and it was just kind of like a backyard wrestling thing. You probably remember some of those tapes back in the day where they were like throwing people on light tubes and fire and all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
So they had that.
Is that the territory days? Is that still territory-ish or no?
No, this is about the days of Stone Cold and as the
Gotcha.
height of his popularity.
Mhm.
Rock.
There's like 2 territories still running.
Yeah, 2003-ish.
And then
Okay.
smoke it. No. Okay, never shut down. This is WW then.
Yep.
Okay.
So they went from a handmade ring basically to an old wrestling ring. And it wasn't a great ring. If you know anything about wrestling rings, it had like the actual spring in it. So the Yoda rings used to have these
Right.
springs. It's stiff. So they upgraded to like a WCW style ring. And at the same time, we kind of went from, 30 to 40 people, and we started having about 75 people, something like that.
Was this one of the ones where the ropes made that weird clicking sound?
Oh,
Cable
probably.
with hose. Yeah.
Probably.
Oh god.
At one point, it was just a garden hose, so they had no.
Jeez.
Come on. So we got a little bigger and started having some guys that wrestled at other places actually want to wrestle over there, still in the backyard. And then in a couple of years past, we started having shows at the gym, and our biggest show we were like a little bit over 500 people,
No
which in
kidding.
Paducah, it's like
That's a lot.
that'd be like 5,000 people. in
Amazing.
Louisville,
That's a lot.
But Ricochet from the WWE started there. Chuck Taylor, who's like on the independent scene. So, I mean, big names came out of there, and Ricochet is just
He's blowing up.
he is.
And
He is.
you would announce these.
Yeah, so I started kind of getting like when we were still in the backyard and doing all that. Like one day, this guy was like, "Well, I'll let you do it." I don't know. He knows who he is. He's probably not watching. But he was like, "Oh, I'll let you try it." And I remember they came out and like got me. They were like, "All right, well, you're only gonna do half the show." I was like, "Well, I guess I bombed this."
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, all right. And anyway, I ended up just being persevering and just like kind of working hard, and eventually kind of earned the respect of the guys. And I started doing the announcing and play-by-play and stuff. We had like live play-by-play because that's kind of like an independent thing.
I got to ask you right now, did you do interviews?
Yeah. And I'll also tell
That's
you,
got to be fun.
I don't want to go on about this. Could be a podcast.
I know,
itself,
yeah.
but, I actually got involved in a storyline and ended up having a match. So I've actually been in a professional.
You wrestled?
match.
No.
Oh.
Yes, thank you. And have a good night.
You're the coolest guy that's ever been on this show.
Yeah,
Did you take a bump, John?
I did. I used to love to take the Roddy Piper thing where, you give it an inverted atomic drop and then Roddy Piper just pokes you in the eye. And you have
Right.
no cell.
Oh, you're the coolest dude. That's
I took one of those outside and landed in the dirt.
Man, oh my gosh, that's great. But that's fun. I
Yeah.
had no
So
idea.
anyway, and then I went to Murray State and did broadcasting stuff. So I've always enjoyed
Okay.
broadcasting and all that kind of
I'll
stuff.
have to make
So,
sure we keep that in mind.
yeah, it was a lot of fun. And Chuck Taylor, that's his real name. He also went to Murray State. We ended up having classes together and stuff. So
Great music school at Murray State. They really do. They have
Yeah.
a very good music school.
they've always had a real good music department. So, but so that was. I don't know how that intertwines.
Well,
with the whole.
it kind of does because it's going to intertwine with the skit because you're in college and you do all that. I'm sure you had barbecues.
That I can remember. Yeah.
Okay, so you have to purchase items for barbecues, don't you?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if you have a barbecue. So let's talk a little bit about the scenario we're going to have right now, and you can all participate. Okay, and you can't hear the music because obviously we got to do something about that eventually. I'll get a speaker or something like that. Is it running? I think it is. Anyway,
Is your phone going?
I think my phone might be down. We don't even need the music,
Okay.
but it'll be more fun. Oh, you know what? It's the commercial. Skip ad.
Our production value is better.
Play. It's playing now. I don't know if is it muted?
No, I took it off mute.
Oh, it's me. Here we go. Hear that? I got some music going.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, folks. The Groove Machine's gonna have a party. Gonna have a barbecue. Derek?
Oh, figuratively. Or
Yes, we're gonna have a figurative
hypothetical.
barbecue party. Derek? Matthew, you've been tasked with picking up the food for the party.
Okay.
Okay? There's right now we have 15 people.
Okay.
They've all donated $10.
Okay.
You have to get all the food for the party with $150.
We're going to Aldi, baby.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? So
Aldi's got
now,
good meat.
We're going to introduce some issues that you're going to have to deal with while you do this.
Oh. Okay.
Okay? But right now I don't have a pen and pencil. We need to keep track of how much everything costs.
Use Notepad on the
Hey,
computer.
Nick, can you grab a drink while you're over there too, please?
Use Notepad on the computer.
What's that?
Notepad on the computer.
Oh, yeah, I could do that.
What do you want?
Oh, all right, yeah, I'll take. Oh, just with some bourbon or something like that.
There's plenty of
Just
that.
some, yeah. So, yes, that'll be fantastic. Thank you.
Ring for review.
So here we go. You've got 100 right now. You have $150,
Okay.
and you have to buy all the food for all the party
For 15
Now-
people.
for 15 people. And I'll let you know right now, guys, that it is BYOB. You don't have to worry about beer.
Okay.
Okay. So you walk into Aldi. Tell me what's going on.
I would go because so we're working with $10 per person.
Yeah.
Right, you got $150.
$150 total for 15.
You could have for $10 a person a freaking German feast.
Okay.
So you're thinking
At Aldi.
bratwurst?
I'm talking like they have so many different sausages there. It's like it's madness at that place. I go there. My refrigerator's not right now, but it's normally filled with Aldi stuff,
Okay.
and you could probably feed 30 people off of $150 at Aldi.
Okay.
So you're thinking bratwurst, kielbasa, maybe some sauerkraut,
Yeah.
Dusseldorf mustard. We're going all out German feast.
Yeah, and we've still got money left over,
Mhm.
easily.
So you. Go ahead. No, you're in. What else?
Mustard was it?
What kind of,
Dusseldorf mustard.
Oh, that's very
is there anything specific you think, Martine, that people would probably want? Potatoes,
Like
right?
you do something in potatoes and they're fairly inexpensive.
So you have.
So you've stolen my one being Irish.
I can't wait for you to. Oh, go ahead.
Taco
Go ahead.
shells?
I was going to say Irish
How
tacos.
about some chips and cheese dip and salsa?
Yeah,
Okay, so you
that's
guys-
kind of Irish as well.
So you-
We're very lazy. As long as it's got potato and it's fine.
All right.
so you have some plans. There we go. So you're walking through the first aisle. And all of a sudden, you're looking in the produce section because that's the first part of the store.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you happen to see Magnus Rasmussen. Okay, and he's holding a pineapple in one hand, and he's holding a melon in the other. Okay, and he's looking, and he's just looking at both of these, and he shrugs his shoulders and he looks at you. What happens?
Go with a pineapple every time, man. I mean, come on, it's just better.
Okay, so you just look at him and you don't greet him. You don't just say, "Hey, grab the pineapple."
Absolutely.
So you have some. Is
It's,
that what
it's
happened?
funnier if you just start
If you
midway
just
into
start-
a conversation because there's nothing that's
Okay.
gonna make sense out of what's going on anymore.
Looks like you've got your hands full right now.
So
I
you go
don't-
with the yuck. You go with the yuck. Good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, and he looks at you and he says, hey guys, I know you guys support the team. I'm trying to get food together for a party.
So are we.
Really? What kind of party?
Barbecue. We're
We
getting a
can't-
ridiculous amount of meat.
4 or 5 of the players want to come to the party, want to have a party, but we're not sure what to get. You guys mind if we come to the party too?
You may definitely come to any party we ever have.
Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay, so
Where's the party taking place?
you can't tell you.
Oh God.
So
yeah,
you're-
they can come to the party.
They can come. So you've got 5 players.
We
from
can
the
make the
team.
best of anything.
So now you got 5 players from the team, Martin. Martin. I'm looking at. I just called you Martin. Called you Martin.
You know,
Because you started talking about tacos. You started talking about potatoes.
You know,
Screwed my ass up.
in Ireland,
We got,
our national team wears green, and my name in Irish is Martine.
Oh, okay. There you
So we're
go.
okay. Practically the
All
same.
right.
So now you've got 20. Do you have 20 people with $10 each, or do you ask them if they need to contribute?
I mean,
these,
they get
these starving USL players.
they probably get paid a lot more than most of us.
So you say, hey, you want to come to our party? You're paying $10 each.
Maybe bring that fruit salad you're working on.
Okay. So Magnus says, all right, well, $10 each. All right. So now we have 20 people we have to feed
Mm-hmm.
at $20 each.
Okay.
And Magnus now joins you in shopping. You're done with. So do you get anything in produce? I mean, do you make a nice salad?
Aldi has really good deals on strawberries.
Okay.
So I think that we could load up. We could load up on strawberries.
So how much? So let's say what, a pound of strawberries?
Mm-hmm.
How much is a pound of strawberries? You think?
$1.49.
All right. So let's write that down. We've spent our first $1.49.
We need to pick up Aldi as a sponsor as much as we talk about Aldi. I'm just saying. Like,
Okay. So
go one and go
all right,
for
so you-
£2 for $3. To be
Yeah.
fair,
all right. So
there's
2
plenty of
pounds.
people there.
So we have 2 pounds of strawberries for $3. Let's move on. Okay. So we're out of produce. That's it. We don't need anything else.
I mean, maybe like some grapes. Magnus has got the pineapple covered. Maybe we could chop up some melon. Watermelon's always good.
All right. So there you go. So assorted fruit products.
Yeah.
How much do you think, John? Are you a fruit sales? Do you buy fruit?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
How much will these things that we just talked about cost?
Quite a bit.
See, I told you this would be fun.
Quite a bit.
not at Aldi.
What is happening?
Okay, so now we're talking about what? How much for fruit so far?
I'd say 50.
All right, $15. So
$15.
we've got 185 left. We've gone through the fruit. We walk through the second aisle. I get a text. Immediately, it's Kaylee.
Kaylee
says-
Kersey?
Kaylee Kersey texts me because she knows you guys are there. She says, if you don't come back with Krispy Kreme donuts, I'm going to kill you.
Sounds
It sounds entirely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have
Spot
to
on.
remember that we need Krispy Kreme donuts.
Not if we take that literally. You said you didn't want them.
No, she says you can't come back in. with them.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So now you've gotten your produce. You're moving. Now you're moving through maybe the chips, right? Go on.
Okay, well, we were talking about getting like some chips and some cheese dip and salsa and maybe like sour cream and onion dip.
Okay.
You know, the typical tailgate buffet.
Right.
Doritos.
Doritos.
Definitely buns.
But what? That's coming, right?
Oh, yeah,
Because we're talking
chips.
strictly chips, right? Salsa,
Yep.
right? So how much do you think? Assorted chips, salsa, $20.
Yeah, I think that'd be fair.
All right, so $20.
Yeah.
So we how much we up to right now?
We are up to $35.
$35. So
You don't shop at Aldi very often.
You're right. You're right. I
We're
shop
getting
at
a lot
Kroger.
more than you're thinking.
Yeah, we'll just
Okay.
get more.
Okay. So we're at 165.
Yeah, we'd have to go to
I
Kroger
could
later
feed-
because we gotta get Krispy Kremes. They don't have.
I could feed a middle school at
Remember,
Aldi.
we still have to get donuts. We haven't got the donuts.
We'll drive that Krispy Kreme on the way and get however much
Here.
$10.
Do we all need to be there? Can one of us just go to Kroger and save the rest of us the journey?
No, you're all stuck there because you ran out of gas. I just made that. Okay.
Because Kroger has the cheaper petrol or gas. So,
All right, so we got snacks, kind of. We got some chips. We got some fruit. What else do we need?
buns.
We need buns. What goes in buns? Meat. We need meat. We need lots of meat.
Yeah, we can
We
solve
got
it.
20 people. And we got soccer players.
We are having a sausage party.
There we go. We're off the rails now.
Yeah.
So what do we need? We need burgers. We need.
I thought we were going straight up German though.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. You tell me.
They did.
Sausages.
Sausages. It's a sausage party. We're having a sausage party. Wonderful. That's so
That's what I'm
wonderful.
saying.
Joe, come on to the joke.
So there you are. So you're looking at you go walking into the sausage aisle. And look who you see Lance McGarvey. Standing there all by himself. He looks a little dejected. His family's out of town. Okay. And he's like, and then you go to him and you say, what do you say to Lance? You see he looks a little sad. What do you say?
Well, by God, come to this party and have some meat with us.
Right? And Lance says, I love meat. Nothing like some meat. Nothing like a good dose of sausage.
Hello, sir.
Okay, so now Lance is at the party.
He has a bear.
He is. And Lance really likes meat. So now you have 21 people. Now you got another $10 to spend.
Hey.
So now here you are. Now you got Lance and Magnus hanging out, walking around with you. So how much meat do we buy? How much sausage do you partake in?
I mean, between the bratwurst and just general sausage.
A 5-pack of Bavarian bratwurst at Aldi is $3.99.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So you need but you'd need since you're only going bratwurst for it's got to be another $20-30 of bratwurst, right?
mhm.
Say $40 on
Yeah.
meat overall.
40.
Yeah.
So okay, so we're just getting bratwurst.
Different sausages
Yeah.
and such.
So it's going to be a smorgasbord of sausages.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a sausage fest. Everybody's going to enjoy each other's sausage. Okay.
We should get some pierogies too.
Oh, pierogies! Come on, you like pierogies.
I mean,
How many pierogies would you eat?
Just a box
How many-
or two.
personally,
Yes. How many pierogies can you eat?
I don't know. I've never.
An upper limit has not been established.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say we buy another $10 of pierogies. I don't know. I've never
Why
bought a
not?
pierogi.
Sky's the limit.
We've only spent $75 so far, so we're.
So we got another $125 left.
Are we getting the money from the USL boys?
Yes, they're all donating.
So it's 200. So we got 125. We got loads.
Still got plenty of money,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
I can't wait to see what happens after we leave Aldi.
So we still need all the bread, right? So I guess we need buns, we need those types of products. I guess another $10 for bread. I don't even know. What kind of bread do you like? Are you one of those? Are you a honey mustard thing person, or are you just a regular mustard?
I like just either a yellow mustard or something like a Dusseldorf mustard.
Okay, Dusseldorf mustard. It's probably
Yeah.
another couple bucks.
So
Now, do we go regular buns or do we get like a pretzel bun?
That's
Is
what I'm
that an
saying.
option?
Now we have to
That's an
talk
option.
about. Now we have to talk about specialty buns. Do we like nice buns or do we like regular buns?
I like nice buns.
Don't we all like nice buns? See, that's not, you figured out where I was going with this.
I'm a buns guy. I mean,
We all like buns, so let's move on. Let's get some good buns this time. Martin, what do you think?
I'm doing the math here. So
Yes.
we're going to spend about $5 on mustard. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Do we need to waste any money on ketchup?
No, because we're not
No.
doing we're not doing American meat. We're doing
you'll eat it our
Germany.
way. You'll eat it our way at our party.
We do need at least $5 worth of salad.
I got a text. I just got a text from Kathy.
Mhm.
Kathy Rain says, make sure you bring ice. So got to make sure we
She's
figure ice
right.
into this.
She is right.
We haven't bought the donut yet.
I think is the ice for Michael's knees.
See, I
Yes.
have no idea.
Uh-huh.
Can
Okay.
we get twice the ice?
We got players coming, so we can't do all liquor either. We need some kind of 2 liters.
Thank you. 'Cause
George
now-
Davis IV would disagree.
So now we have,
Sorry, George.
so we've got meat, we got buns, soft drinks. What's your favorite soft drink, John?
Coca-Cola Classic.
Coca-Cola Classic is good.
We're not going to have that in Aldi though. Are we going
Which
to
one?
have that
Fresca.
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 Oh, my mom used
To
to
your
drink
point, they
Fresca.
might not have it.
Yeah, we're going to have to go to Kroger for the quality soda.
We're out of gas. We can't go.
There might
Are we
be a-
going to get the
And we're stuck in Aldi. We can't get to the
Start
party.
Aldi.
Can we get Kathy or somebody to bring the
You're making this
barbecue
way too
down
logical.
to Aldi? If we can't leave Aldi, get the
This is way
barbecue
too
down here.
logical.
We can just go in whenever we
Postmates.
need something else.
Yes.
We'll hit you right with Lance.
We'll hit your ride with Lance. That's right, because Lance at the party. So we're saying about 2 liters times 10
Probably.
for assorted
I
soft
need
drinks.
Sprite Zero or I'm not going to be happy.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So we've got 10 2-liter drinks, For 20 people?
20.
or is that too much?
No, I think that's-
Okay, 10
Yeah.
2-liter drinks of assorted whatevers. Fresca.
a lot of sugar.
Fresca's a good call. I like that.
What's Aldi's brand? I can't remember their
I
soft
don't
drink.
know.
They've got like some off-brand.
So how much are we up to?
So, lamb 15 for bread, 5 for mustard, 40 for meat, 20 for chips and salsa, 15 for fruit, and 20 for soda. That takes us to a grand total so far of $115.
Oh, so we still got $85 to spend.
Let's just buy some gas so we can get the
So wait a
Krispy
second,
Kremes
we need
program.
sweets.
Get your spot zero.
We need sweets. You walk into the cookie aisle, and all of a sudden you're looking, and you see Hubbard and Paco having an argument over cookies.
I would pay money to watch that. I just want to say.
So there's Paco with a bag of Oreos, okay? And you see Hubbard with chocolate chip cookies, and they're arguing, and they look directly at you, Derek, and they say, which one of these would you pick? Now you have to intervene in a player dispute, and you have to do it tactfully.
I'd go, with the amount of the card accumulation that Paco's had this season. I'd go with whatever Paco wants.
Okay, because he could see.
You know he's going to call them biscuits.
He's going to call them biscuits. Very nice. Thank you for that. So it looks like he had the Oreos.
I'm going to go with Paco.
Okay, Hubbard looks at you and
Oreo
says,
biscuits.
that's a pretty good call because your logic is sound.
Way to be a leader, Chris.
Way to be a leader, Chris. Good for you, Diesel. So we're gonna, and then they find, and then of course Magnus gonna be like, "You guys want to come to this party?" And they say yes. So now I got 3 of the party.
If all these players hang out at Aldi, I mean, did they take the freaking bus there? Because we could put all the stuff on the team bus.
That's a good thing.
You're foreshadowing.
Oh,
So now we have some cookies. We want some. We're gonna buy some cookies.
Was it Hubbard was wanting? Okay,
So now
we're having like a toddler's birthday.
So so we've got everything. What are we missing? What are we missing? Wait. I just got another
Krispy
text.
Kreme. Oh no.
Got another text from Patrick. Said, you guys don't forget the birthday cake.
Birthday?
What
Whose birthday?
I don't know. He just sent me a text and he bailed and did whatever he was doing. So we have to add a birthday cake and donuts.
We're talking about Arkenberg, right?
Yes.
As
the
long
one
as he's
that
not
lies
asking us to
about
pick
his
up baby stuff. Can you guys get us some diapers too?
Okay. Well, then I just got another text. It's from him. It said, "Yeah, can you guys grab some diapers too?"
That's what. Yeah.
Okay.
Give me that phone real quick.
So now we have diapers and we have cake.
No, we don't have diapers. You told him back no.
Oh, wait a second. Okay, go ahead.
Small child. We need to get those diapers. The party is ruined.
So
The
the
birthday cake, though.
Just don't mention
The
baby
birth-
wipes because he's gonna want those too.
birthday cake is a necessity.
Now, is the barbecue same day or
Yes, so we're going to it as soon as we're done shopping.
Oof.
So we're doing pretty well though, right? I mean, birthday cake. Don't forget the
We're at
donuts.
120. The donut. Are we getting Krispy Kremes? We're just going to get the store.
Kayla's going to kill us if we don't get Krispy Kreme.
We need to get to Kroger.
I don't know, man. I don't know. So anyway, so we're doing pretty good financially.
Until our Krispy Kreme
Yeah,
burned
it's
down
good.
and you get the Aldi donuts.
So we're getting ready to go to the checkout line. We got all our stuff. Right?
Somebody forgot their card, didn't they?
Matt Dalton just called me.
Okay.
Matt said, "Dude, I know we were supposed to BYOB, but we're out of booze already
We're gonna
because everybody drank the booze."
on the speedway.
So now we have to pick up booze for 20 people.
How much do we have left?
We have.
So with both diapers and birthday cake, I'm going to say it's going to be a crappy birthday cake. It's going to be about 140. Because, I mean, no
Did somebody knock on the door?
An Aldi birthday cake. No.
Okay.
But we're about 140 roughly. We still have to get Krispy Kreme. How much does she want in Krispy Kreme?
It's Kaylee. It's Kaylee.
I mean, probably do that for 5.
So now we've got $60 left, and we need all the booze for the party.
Well, we have to get the Krispy Kremes and the ice still.
Oh, so there you go. So we're now
If
we
the
don't have
Krispy
to.
Kremes, we'll say 5.
If we go to the gas station, we can get ice, Krispy Kremes, booze, and gas.
Nice.
How much are we going to spend? Whose car is this? I mean, I'm not spending a lot of money if it's not my car.
Who's got the cream?
So all right. So we'll check out what we have so far, which is 100 and whatever. So we
140.
got about $60 left for booze, gas, Krispy Kreme donuts, and what? What do we miss?
Okay, here's what we're going to have to do. We cannot buy enough quality booze to cover this party. So we're going to disguise the fact that we're getting cheap booze by taking all that fruit and mixing up a big thing of fun.
There you go. There you go.
We're
Now we're
making
talking. Now we're talking. See? This is what we want. Creative thinking by Matthew. We love that. So we're going
I'm
to
gonna try not to be obvious at one of the
because I guarantee you what we're going to be left with is like 2 pieces of sausage and 10 cases of beer.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to be left.
Are we going to throw 10 or 20 into the tank?
Is Mike Ryan coming to the party?
Grand. We
Is
have
Mike
$40 of crap booze.
See, Derek just asked a very important question. Is Mike Ryan coming to the party? Add another bottle of booze.
Mike
Can
needs
we
a cooler
water
all by
down the
himself.
bottle? Because we're running low here. Or can we
There's
get
got to be
some?
some residual somewhere.
Oh, that's beautiful. So anyway, we just got to get the booze in the car. With how much money we have?
We are down to 0. We're spending 40 on booze, 10 on gas, 5 on Krispy Kremes, and 5 on ice.
Wow. So we're out of money.
$40 of booze there.
So we didn't need that much booze. We just needed to cover Matt. Everyone else was BYOB.
Yeah, but they're after
But they ran out.
So somebody spent too much time talking to Paco and Chris Hubbard over biscuits.
So, but we
We
worked
can
out.
maybe get by with $20 with a really cheap booze. If we're just making
And we keep $20 worth of good booze for ourselves. I like it.
yeah.
So can we get the final list? Of
So,
$200.
so far, $15 on fruit,
Uh-huh.
$20 on chips and salsa, $40 of meat, $5 worth of mustard, $15 on buns and bread of different forms, $20 on sodas, $5 of Oreos, $10 for $20 for diapers and a birthday cake, which for some mysterious reason are going together. Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick. Patrick, you ruined everything.
Who's going to pay us back for the diaper?
Let's see, where else are we down the list? Then we got $10
Ring. I just got a call.
Hang it up. You've run out of
Is it the guy driving the bus?
I'm going to go with that. That's allowed. That's allowed. We're
You
done.
arrived there, and listen, there's gas in the car. Go and get it yourself.
That's beautiful. So it's all about planning and knowing your constituency.
And we never do that. So
We never-
how we get in this situation.
So that's how we would handle bringing food to a party. Is that good?
I
I like it.
Make sure I get a copy of this.
This will be available for download on the website.
Okay, now Joe, here's something you need to come up with.
Yes.
You said 5 players. Who were the other 4?
I said 3. I got 3 in.
Okay, so who are the others?
I didn't add that 4th player in. You're right. I kind of
You said
removed.
5. You
Five
said
minutes
5
How many did I
players.
say? 3 or 4?
Mag and 4 others.
You're right. I missed 2.
Hopefully not Niall, because he'll eat all our damn food.
Oh, I did. That's. See, we can't. Are we done? No, we're not done because of players. Because when you have all the food and we have all the good stuff, the whole idea was trying to get the really good stuff that we like, and then have Paulo, right, and GD4 arguing over kale. So now you have to surrender. You have to surrender one of the really good things for kale.
Ew.
So we're going to add that in. Thank you for reminding me. All right. So now we're at the checkout line,
Wow.
and Paulo and Carol are like, look, we need kale. We're going to have kale.
What's kale?
Kale is a wonderful vegetable that has great nutritional value, apparently.
I think.
I mean, it doesn't taste as good as meat, but we
Doesn't
need
taste as
kale.
good as cardboard. Would you go away?
But they want it, and they're coming to the party. We agreed to bring them.
The player in me says that the kale is a good idea because those guys should be eating cookies.
Thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
for that. You see that, Derek? Thank you.
So we're going
Right.
to cut out some of the junk food.
We got to cut out something. We got to cut out something.
Yeah.
I don't know how much kale costs because I wouldn't eat that stuff. Right?
I don't know. I've never bothered to look at.
Eat that stuff.
What's that?
Arguably, nobody can eat that stuff.
There's people that come to our games that are like kale fanatics. They talk kale.
It's like iceberg lettuce.
Yeah.
I think they make a pill for that.
Oh,
It's like-
it's
it's like-
tasty.
Yes.
And lettuce.
But I don't eat I don't know, man. But there you go. So we have to add the kale in. And we're getting rid of some
Take
chips.
something out of chips.
All right, so no more chips.
Yeah.
$5 of
There.
chips. 2 bags of chips are gone. And,
We'll
and
get
we're
rid of the Lay's and the sour cream and onion. There you go.
all right, never get rid of the Lay's. Wait, I shouldn't say that.
Wait, we're not. We can't get Lay's.
That's what I'm saying because everybody wants to get Lay's.
Hey.
Did I just go there? I did that.
Was this entire thing a big elaborate setup so you can say that? on
Yes.
TV?
Because
That would be worth it.
That would be worth it.
Yeah.
so hopefully you enjoyed our planning of how to create a picnic with $200 with all kinds of spins, twists, and turns.
Yep.
It was. This guy's like, dude, don't ever do this again. It was fun. I had fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
I enjoyed it. So that was it. John, how are you, sir?
Oh, good. I was just sitting there thinking about how much Jimmy John's $150 gets. I was
Right.
like, huh. Too much. It'd probably be.
Yeah, I think about it. Well, the first annual Sausage Fest may be coming.
I would totally. I would
If you
throw
go-
that. I would
Have
throw
we had
that, and I would
sausage
cook for it.
That's what I'm saying.
We could do it during Oktoberfest.
Yeah.
Load up some meat. Come eat our meat.
Seems like we've had that at the tailgate, right?
Come eat our meat at Sausage Fest.
I turned 40 this year, and,
No, you
we're,
don't.
and
No, you
we,
don't.
we're going to have a very large birthday party for me.
Nice.
And we're planning on renting a VFW hall with a giant inflatable boxing ring.
Nice.
And this would be perfect if you wanted to have a sausage fest.
Sausage Fest. Derek's 40th birthday.
I would
Sausage
love
Fest.
that. I never have a good birthday party because it's
See,
2 days after
So
Christmas.
now this entire skit generated a grand idea,
Mhm.
I think.
That'd be funny.
It would be funny. A
I would
Sausage
say
Fest.
yeah.
I like
Get really sick off eating Bavarian bratwurst.
it. Bavarian bratwurst and kale.
They've got sausages that are filled with like peppers
Yes.
and red hot. And it's so
Jalapenos.
good.
Great stuff.
John, thank you for
Sure.
joining us. I know we've already
I'm
said hello. and,
Having a great time.
added some stuff in. I want to get to where you decided there's a point where you're like, I want to get on that stand and I want to be a captain. Can you tell us what that was all about?
Yeah, I mean, I just, when I first started going over there, I just, I don't know, screamed my head off for 90 minutes and went crazy and ended up kind of, I guess that kind of got the attention of some people. I don't know. I just started talking to Melissa and hanging out with people and getting to
We
know
love
people.
Melissa Potter.
We do.
love Melissa Potter.
We do. We miss her and Angie and the examples they set, the passion they brought, and so that really made a difference. And just started kind of doing it off and on, sporadically, and kind of, I don't know, earning my stripes.
Okay, the first
I
time
think
you.
I'm some sort of proof.
Well, I'm going to say if you're outgoing enough to do wrestling stuff and take bumps.
It doesn't get any more embarrassing than that.
Well, I'm going to say, yeah, I guess it's not much standing in front of a few people and blah, blah, blah into a microphone really didn't,
Yeah.
or into a megaphone didn't bug you too much.
No, and I've never had one thing. I've never had any sort of stage fright in my life, or like didn't mind being like making presentations in school was like my favorite thing.
Okay.
So a lot of people were like, "Oh, I hate that." or
Did you go to
whatever.
university? Did you say that?
Yeah, Murray.
Murray.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you said
Yeah.
that. And
I love doing that kind of stuff and putting together like stuff like that. So I mean, I've always enjoyed doing that stuff. So that helps. And then bourbon also helps.
Yeah,
Yes. But yeah.
it's a social lubricant.
Yeah. It keeps my throat lubricated so I can scream things.
Scream
so
things. So
we need a bucket of honey on the capo stand.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
would be nice. And eventually, have you gotten involved with writing any of this stuff yet, as far as cheers or?
There's a few that I've sent to like Matt and Glenn, and they're like, "That's terrible." And
Wait, I got a good idea. Here's a cheer.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
I think
I'm
that
sorry
was like
because there's
beginning-
nothing in the world I hate more. Well, that's not true. Go on. I'm sorry.
No,
I
go on.
apologize.
It's
I apologize.
But no, sometimes we'll kind of shoot things back and forth. A lot of times we'll shoot things back and forth and not really be in the frame of mind to be shooting things back and forth. And it's like, oh yeah, this doesn't sound good. But Matt, a lot of those songs, a lot of the newer songs, especially they were just kind of like, we'd be throwing some stuff back and forth. Matt would come up with something and be like, how about this? And we always, I think the hardest part on a lot of songs is to find out like what is the tune to it or whatever the case may be. But nevertheless, I have my favorites when I'm up there.
Right. Do you have a personal favorite that you?
I do, and I would like to ask you, what do you think it is?
I'm gonna say maybe not the 500-mile one.
That's close. You got a guess?
2 stars.
Well, that's my favorite. Like,
See, I have a
my
name for
heart.
that. I can't even call it too soon. I have my
I
song.
want to also show you something too. If anybody was at ATG
Yes.
I almost was killed by purple smoke bombs.
Come on, really?
Right here. See that?
I can see a little bit. Yeah, oh, there it is.
Oh,
yeah,
right,
yeah,
yeah.
yep, right by your neck. There's a
These
little-
aren't cheap.
It looks like
Plan.
birdshot. It's a little birdshot that you got there.
I felt fire. I'll tell you that. But I didn't really like it.
That lets you know something may be going awry.
And then there was somebody said, "You're on fire," but I don't know if I was really on fire. I think that
It's
person.
like, yeah, we're really going.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're hot. No,
Yeah.
no kidding. We're really hot.
I really like my favorite one is oh shit. Now, isn't this great? Aribo Lou City.
I love that.
That's
That's one of my favorites.
and I
That's what you did, isn't it?
That's one that I wrote.
yeah, I love that one. So nice one.
Martin.
That was the one
You're-
that was
you're-
way more complex originally, right?
Yes, it was a little more complex. It's like a couple of them. We sort of pared it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're hanging out. You start hanging out in our section. And what are there any chants or cheers that you immediately gravitate to that you're like, wow, this is kind of cool?
Well, first one that I can think of is the Amos Morales.
I love
which-
that.
Oh
Love
man,
that.
that's so cool.
That is a very cool one.
And like I saw the
Kudos to the guy that wrote that too.
Yeah.
did you put,
I hate that. I'm sorry. I apologize.
did you put some of that in the keyboard version on YouTube or something?
Yes, I did.
That was really cool.
That's what we want to do. Is that as we have a couple more that we want to do. One of the things we're talking about doing is adding a keyboard and a bass guitar next year.
Oh, wow.
And people are a little worried about that because they think we're going to play tunes. That is not. That's not it.
No.
What we're going to do is whatever cheers and chants that we have, we're going to add them to that.
Yeah.
So
kind of like the bagpipe does this year.
exactly right. We're not going to sit there in the middle of tune and like just start playing YYZ or something. Or can't give me no satisfaction. I mean that's not it. So the whole idea is that,
I'm already making satisfaction.
so. But anyway, that's the whole idea behind that. There's more to that because there's a bass and keyboard part to that, and there's a couple other cheers that are in that are in Spanish that have the same thing that we want to do, but I can't do them because they're if we don't have the keyboard and bass, it doesn't sound as good, and that's what I'm worried about. Is that we do cheers that start leaning too hard on instruments that are not percussion instruments.
Unusable.
But it's still I don't see anybody else doing stuff like that.
No.
I really want.
Well, I mean, I go back watching football a few years. And I remember in the 1990 World Cup and the European Championships in '88, the Dutch brought trumpeteers with them. It's just like completely. What's wrong with them? Well, nothing. They're brilliant.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. When you can bring in something, especially if it's unique,
Right.
and make it yours,
And we
it's
have-
just so good.
And we have
they had a
rich.
ska section, is what you're saying?
Right. We had a trumpet player, the guy that comes to the games, and I asked him the one game, and we talked about this a couple shows ago. I grew up, one of the corps that I was in, drum corps I was in, was the Hawthorne Caballeros. And the first thing they would do before the show is they'd have a trumpet player play the bull call. And then we would go into what we called the rumps. Jun, 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 jun. So I asked him to play that, and we came up with goals, goals, goals. We want goals, goals, goals. So that's become part of that, and that comes from a trumpet player too. What are we doing now, Martine? That's a little. You're talking about what you watch. You still watch. I'm assuming you still watch the Gun X. Is there a lot of stuff that they're doing at games that we're doing? Are they not doing anything like that? Is it different? What's the difference? Is there any difference?
I feel like it is quite different.
Okay.
Like in the here in the States, it sounds more organized, more drums and like
Good call. That's true.
chords
That's absolutely correct.
And there it just sounds like more just kind of just
Go.
making noise.
Right.
And I think
Dramatic.
that's why the matraca is such a prevalent thing there.
Mhm. Okay.
Mm.
What about an Ireland? What do they do musically?
It varies. I mean, League of Ireland stuff I normally watch. The crowd is smaller, so you can make a bigger impact as a small group because you're not fighting against the masses of noise that like you'd get in the Azteca or someplace. But I mean, this is no Azteca. I mean, normally your tradition is you have drums. That's the thing, and it's normally a combination of either barons or bass drums. You'd never get a snare at an Irish.
And Burroughs, let me tell you something. People have no idea how amazingly cool Irish drumming is.
Mm.
Irish drumming is funky. I mean, going back to like the traditional stuff, It's amazing.
Mm.
And the technique it takes to play a couple of those drums,
Yeah.
I was a percussion major in college. Let me tell you something. It ain't easy.
I mean, the double-headed.
Double-headed.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Baron. The kidney is
amazing.
hard.
Amazing stuff. And the rhythms and stuff that they come up with, fantastic. I would love to do something like that. Anyway, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, no, I mean, when I heard the bagpipes, I think it was this year's the first. Is this the first year of the bagpipes?
Yes.
Good, because I was away for 6 months, and I came in. This is bagpipe. Was there a bagpipe last year? I can't remember. I just remember winning the cup, and after that, it was more.
Right.
But no, I mean, with the bagpipes, I mean, you are leaning. There's a sort of a Celtic lean there that you can get in things like the Baron. I think they fit with. I'm not a music expert, but I mean, to my ears. Say a lambic drum from the north of Ireland or a Baron from the south, that fits nicely alongside bagpipes, you know. So I think, I mean, here's the thing: we've got such a broad base of sort of ethnic histories following the thing that, you know, as long as you're sort of incorporating people who have some kind of connection, pull in the Celtic, pull in the Hispanic, pull in the Balkan. I mean, you know your stuff. Your Balkan beat is an amazing thing. The biggest regret I have from being in the Balkans is I never got to a football game there because those crowds are crazy.
You start drifting into Asian stuff.
I
The
go
connection to Asia, you know, based on geographically, you start drifting east.
Yeah.
And there's some of the Asian music.
Mm.
Really, you want to now once again because Asian music has really infused itself into pop music over the last 10 years in this country. And getting some of that going on, which is not Western. That is not a Western thing.
No, but K-pop is so influential.
Right.
I mean, in a way that we don't realize, we don't recognize it. But your top musicians, they're listening to everything from everywhere.
Right.
You know, it's how like ska came out of that. You know,
ska makes me nervous. It's like music on crack.
Ska is a real.
It's great stuff though. They're talented musicians.
We don't do it so much at the matches, but I mean, ska is a super Waterford thing. I mean, there's what if we had the players, that's what we'd be doing at our games.
Really?
You know,
you Kentucky, hanging out in Kentucky for a long time, bluegrass. Wouldn't it be kind of fun to get a little bluegrass going on?
Yeah.
Golly, I can't even imagine because I'm telling you, mandolin players and guitar players in that genre are the best musicians I've ever run into in my life. And I played in orchestras. I was a principal percussionist in Jersey City for 2 years. They're amazing musicians. And the whole idea is to try and, like you were just saying, is to meld cultures together and come up with something that's uniquely Louisville and uniquely ours. And I want to we'll go around the table. What do you think, looking into the future, what do you think we need to do from a supporter culture to inject more Louisville into what we're doing?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with just continually talking to people that don't go to games about games and bringing more and more people into.
So you're talking about individuals personally, okay?
Yeah, I think as a whole, I think we do a lot of great things, and I think like we have just a lot. I mean, just look at this right here. Like this didn't exist, you know, a year ago. You know, we bang Harper, and that's just harder.
We bang Harper. You have no idea the door you just opened right now. You have no idea.
That is brilliant.
Hey guys, ready to start a cheer? Let's bang. No, let's bang Harper.
I'm so sorry, honey.
Yeah, we want
never going to you.
Well,
Need that on the back
we're
of
not
your
going to
door.
do that to her. We're just going to do it to you. You know that.
She's never gonna get up there.
We bang Harper. Please continue.
But no,
ladies and gentlemen, with commentary, John, we bang Harper.
I love this, by the way. Are these for sale?
Yeah.
Are they for sale? Do we have any?
I mean, I literally this one, and I actually like this picture too. Is that for sale?
If you keep, Derek's probably for sale.
No, I
Also want to let you know, I went by the thing that said people who live here, and I didn't go into the guest entry. You think I'm gonna like have my card?
that is the most useless guest entry thing I've ever seen.
Thank you. Thomas back.
It doesn't.
Up and then
It's just so.
You did? See, I thought about it. I was like, should I back up? I was looking for sensors. I was like, is there like
I've seen people park there. I've seen people park there and they don't want to come through the gate. They just and I'll pull up and I'll go, hey, are you like coming to visit somebody? Well, yeah. I'm like, well, you don't have to stay there. You can just go in.
Just keep driving.
So, getting
yeah.
people to the games is one thing.
Yeah, well, here's why I say that, because like I think that continues to just grow our fan base. Like, I don't want to take for granted like what we've got. I think sometimes we're not humble enough as supporters and stuff like that. I just feel like, I mean, look how much this has grown. I brought a totally new guy I don't think he's ever been. If he's been to soccer, it's been a long time ago, and he sung every song without even knowing the lyrics. Like
Really?
He got into it big time. I told him, I was like, man, that was like kind of the highlight of my year so far, just seeing you there and like having a great time. So I think just bringing more people into it and bringing more ideas to the table and just things spontaneously happening and people just, enjoying it and having fun. I think we have a great like tailgate, and shout out to Doug Scott.
Doug is the
guy,
best.
oh my gosh, like that one of those games, it was like 100 degrees and the dude is cooking and having a good time and cool with everybody. So. But I think that's just a great way to pregame before the game, and any tailgate. Just having a good time and stuff like that. But just I'd like to see some of the old school stuff. That first year we had a lot of like random. I'll see them on Twitter once. Some of them I've never actually seen at games, but like there's a lot of cosplay and stuff like that going on.
There's a lot of cosplay.
I know that was kind of talked about, I think, on like Barrel Proof, but yeah, I mean, just bringing some of that back into it. And I
think people got a little bit shy about that, and I don't think they should have been.
No,
because you're here on this planet for 15 minutes, and do whatever you have to do to have a good time.
Yeah.
And if that means dressing up as Batman or dressing up as Fred Flintstone or dressing up as whatever you want to do it. Who cares?
The guy all purple dressed in a bikini and grass skirt, maybe?
Well, yes, I remember you. You did that on beach night, didn't you?
Yeah, the worst day in the history of the club, nearly.
I'll call it my mouth because I don't want to get blamed for talking about that.
I get blamed. I own the blame for that night. I scored all 4
You look good
goals.
though. When you did that, you were rather enticing that night, Martin.
I think
That's
we
back
had,
in my modeling days.
talking about cosplay. I think we had a Lucity Deadpool that actually never made it to a
Never made it to.
that's what I was saying. Like I saw some.
Yeah, I
things.
remember.
Yeah.
Well, he had Twitter, didn't he? And he never.
Never actually wore it to a game.
No, and I saw one guy who dressed up as Macho Man Savage once,
That's right.
and he looked good.
Yeah.
And it's like I don't know.
You can't look bad when you dress up like Randy.
If I tried it, good.
That's the Macho Man.
So, Martin,
Hey, I still do the Sting thing.
yes, you do, and you do it well. I
Moderately well.
hate face paint. I can't do face paint.
You are the icon.
Yeah.
Better on the body.
Yeah, well, so Martin, same question to you. What do you think about, what can we do to inject a little bit more of what culturally inject more to make it better as we go forward into the new stadium?
Gosh.
It's a big question. I know, but that's the whole point. Is to make people think, and something that's blurted out. Maybe something somebody hears later is like, yeah, that's what we want. I mean, anyway, I just thinking off the top of your head
Gosh.
or the middle of your head.
Well,
Pick any part of your head and think.
Well, I think a lot of the efforts are kind of there. I mean, you've got Angel Share doing a bunch of charity stuff,
Right.
and that at the same time, they're networking and getting a lot of people from these foundations and charities and spreading the word that way.
Right.
And then all the podcasts as well.
Right.
And a lot of people hear about them.
It's really important to make sure that everybody's supporting the podcasts. I mean that. I think it's, regardless of, even if you're like, I don't know if I like that part, I like this part, I don't, so what? So what? Still support it. It's almost like a family member that you still support them, even though, every now and then you don't really pay attention to what they're doing.
And what I love about the podcast, they're all seemingly different.
Right.
And
we tried to find our own niche with this one. You found a really great niche culturally. Ours was the niche was when we talked about this was we don't care about what are you doing?
Peering.
It's not about analyzing games. We have podcasts and shows that do that, and they do it well.
Yeah.
I love when Jordan tears this shit apart.
Yeah.
I said shit. I love when he does that. I listen to it and I dig it because Is that an orange? I mean, I love when he does it. I enjoy listening to him when he does that. And I think that the analysis that they've been doing, Taylor does a wonderful job. He really does. I mean, he is so intense in what he does. Not intense, but he delves into it, right? And then the folks obviously on the radio deal. But we're not going to do it to that level. There's no way. So just bringing the community together and finding a place where we can hang out together and just BS like we're doing right now.
Mhm.
I mean, when you're starting up the Coopers thing, and when you start thinking about music and culture and stuff like that, was that even part of the conversation? I mean,
honestly, when I look back now, and this is not meant in any way to slight anybody, there are amazing people who made this the Coopers happen,
Right.
and helped in all the different groups. But we spent so much time trying to figure out how to get a club in Louisville.
right.
That even after it happened, I think it feels like, and again, I've a different perspective maybe. It feels like after we got the club to happen, we were so anxious to make it happen, and we did things towards the thing. We were more built to be a group to bring a club than to support a club,
Right.
bizarrely. And that first game, it wasn't a disaster on our part, but I look back and think, oh man, we had no idea. We were so built to create a place for there to be a thriving supporters club that we didn't think about there being a supporters club. You know, we'd made banners and we've done bits and pieces, but you know, when the drums started showing up, when the chanting, we had like 2 or 3 ideas about chants. And this is not to take from the wonderful work that people like
Augustus, absolutely. We haven't talked about him on the show. Augustus
and
was wonderful.
you should get Augustus on.
Absolutely. I would love to have him.
Because
on. Would love
he's
to
a
have him.
huge part of what
Absolutely.
we
No doubt.
how the Coopers have evolved beyond we get a club here. But I mean, we genuinely going into it, many of us, and I will absent myself in many ways. I wasn't bothered with that side of things at the time. My big job was trying to basically communicate with the club back and forth and ensure that, you know, we were going places, that the Coopers, that the supporters had a voice in there. Because I mean, that was the only supporters group until like game 2, and all of a sudden 25 different ones showed up. My attitude always was, if the Coopers are to be a success, then there's got to be 5 or 10 other groups setting up in contrast to us, regardless of what. And I hope eventually, I mean, they all kind of coalesce in certain ways behind Capo, behind the band, and on Scouse's House, you get a whole different thing. And for me, this is what we wanted. Oh, sorry, this is what I wanted. Screw the rest of them. This is what I wanted to see: a thriving club with a rich supporting base.
Right.
Now, because I feel that the question was about to come up, the next step for me: how do we build this? How do we make this inherently ours?
Right.
So anybody who goes to the game,
and uniquely Louisville based on the culture, because there's getting people to the games is extremely important. Getting something going on at games that is, it's a very obvious thing, but singing My Old Kentucky Home, that's one thing. The look of the stadium with having it look like a barrel, basically, that was intentional.
Yeah.
There's other ideas out there that I don't know if anybody's thought about yet. And it's one of the things about the show that I'm hoping we can do is to cultivate new ideas that we can sort of run with, or maybe somebody else can hear this and be like, no, that sucks, but this one's better. And they go off and run and do it on their own.
Yeah.
And they do it, and it makes everything. Care less about what banner it's under. I've said it 1,000 times. I can care less about friggin' supporter groups as it relates to supporting the team first. I've said this every show. I think I've said this. I am a Louisville City supporter who's a member of the Groove Machine, the Coopers, and Scouts House. Not a Groove Machine member who happens to be a Louisville City supporter. It's a totally different mindset.
Yeah, and it has to be that way.
Right.
It has to, I mean, I remember saying early on, I can't remember, I think it was after we'd had the big meeting with John Bonner and the boys from down below in Orlando coming up. I've said this to the club: if I will cut the throat of the Coopers, I'll cut the throat of Louisville City if it means we have successful football here.
Right.
If Louisville City,
absolutely,
and unfortunately it hasn't been the case. If it turned out to be one of those dud clubs like what are they, the Chattanooga Red Wolves, or some of these junk teams that are made because somebody thinks there's money to be made.
McDonald's.
I will slit that throat if I have the opportunity, because that is going to do more damage.
I've seen Peaky Blinders. I know you'll do it.
I've got the accent.
I'm sorry.
But no.
That was cheap.
But my attitude, I mean, what you've said is a major part of it. And one of the things, when you get people in the stadium, they stay. I've got friends of mine and people who I didn't even expect to go. They came to a game because somebody brought them.
That was you.
And they got season tickets.
Mhm.
You know, there's wonderful people who never in a million years have thought about it, and they come and they stay. People who, you know, they'll go to games that the Bats play and what have you. How do we get them into the stadium in the first place? My theory is, and this is also a theory for the development of soccer in total locally, is we got to get cheap or free street soccer going.
Thank you.
Now, one of the things I'm really excited about when I look at here starts the rant. One of the things I love about the stadium picture is that the images, we see there's like a little football pitch. Sorry, it's football pitch in front of the unfinished side.
Mhm.
And what we need to be doing is that needs to be being used the whole time. And it needs to be used before games. And whether it's a case of it's a big 200 people against 200 people on that pitch, or we have kids games going on directly before.
We're talking about the tiny pitch.
The tiny pitch.
Yeah.
I would love to see 200 people. Okay.
Ah, yeah. Well, I've done that thing. You know, we've all done.
Yeah.
Actually,
Now you know that's outside the gate, right? So it's available pretty much whenever.
So that's the thing that needs to be happening. We need to infest that place with people and and maybe some days it's just like we're going to get 20 kids from around the city
Mhm.
randomly. Some of them are junk, some of them are amazing, but we'll all go and watch.
And what
them
you're
play.
talking about is ground up.
Yeah. We
Okay.
need every street on Louisville that has more than 2 children to have a tiny little team.
Right.
You know, whether it's like
But
5
that's-
adults and 4 kids, and they're going to play the next street on.
And that's the way it
And they're going to
works.
play on a bit of dirt with jumpers for goalposts, the whole thing. The difference between the success in this country, we have the money to outstrip every nation that's putting money into football.
Absolutely.
Germany can't touch us.
Nope.
Britain can't touch us for the money we have. But kids aren't playing football till they are literally brought along and paid for to play football
Amen.
by parents
Amen.
like me.
Pay for play.
Now, I've been playing with that little word redacted from the podcast since he was old enough to stand, and I don't go easy on him. And unfortunately, now he doesn't go easy on me, and that's gonna burn me in years to come. But
Just wait, young man.
it's not younger. This wouldn't have been great 3 years ago.
If you thought it was great now, just wait till 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, he's in high school going in with both feet.
I'll be wheeling him into high school. But the difference between what I see here and in Finland and in Ireland and in Spain and France and places I've been lucky enough to go to, the successful countries are the countries where ultimately people are just playing on the streets. You know, I spent a couple of weeks in Germany this summer. I was all over Europe.
Yeah, I was gonna
He
say.
was playing football for the local team in Finland, which you had to kind of be with the team because it's so snowy for so long.
Right.
And Finland's kind of screwed in so many ways because
Well, they're next to Russia. That's one thing.
that's a different.
I'm
kind of
sorry.
screwed.
Did I just bring up geopolitical politics?
Again, that's about the second or third time.
Just geography.
But
Hey, they paid us back after World War II. I love it. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, they did. Good knowledge, excellent knowledge.
Where's
They
that coming from?
introduced the sauna to us. That's
Yeah.
There you go.
But they don't have the opportunity we have. We can almost play year round, and we aren't. And this is not to take from the other sports. I come from a country that has 4 different main sports. We got rugby, which is currently huge because the World Cup's on and the national team is quite good. We've got Gaelic football and hurling, which no, you haven't heard of them. Look them up on YouTube. There are national sports and they're huge. And this is school teachers are basically brought up because this is a kind of a nationalist game. This is part of our history.
Right.
So everybody's playing them, except in the place where they don't play hurling, but they're not real people anyway.
Oh,
Hurling is the best sport. And then you've got soccer, football, whatever you want
I
to call
played
it.
plenty of hurling in college.
That's a different kind of hurling. not less broken
I'm kidding.
fingers.
I'm familiar with fairly kind of almost not
It's like
really, but
hockey,
field hockey.
only crazy.
Different, crazier. Right.
And then we got soccer, which sometimes it's huge and very much in the ascent, and at the moment it's not so big because we haven't had a successful team and we don't have players in the top teams anymore. Your average Irish kid is wearing a Sadio Mane shirt or a Mo Salah shirt,
Right.
or players who play for a team that my son doesn't support. They're not wearing a Ross Barkley shirt, I'm afraid.
You're right.
They're wearing the shirts of big famous stars. There's more Messi shirts in Ireland right now than there are, say, David McGoldrick shirts. That's no disrespect to David McGoldrick. He's not playing for one of the big teams. but they're playing on the streets. And we've got to have that happening. We've got to have kids who, when they come home from school, they're going to go and kick around in the park with their friends. Or, and then to say, it's basically the same as kids who go out when they get home from school, they go throw hoops. You know,
Exactly.
it's something that you
Well,
can
it's
do.
the same
And
mentality.
we're lucky in this city because we've got lots of parks. We've got lots of green space. I mean, where I was growing up, we didn't have parks. We had some fields and we kicked on the street a lot of the time. God knows how many wing mirrors have been destroyed because somebody was sure this shot was going to go top corner. On a goal that was
Right,
literally
right.
one jumper there and one jumper there.
So,
That's going to be the difference.
John, I'm going to spin it to you. You having grown up out here, grown up in the States, the culture of the game versus you've done the wrestling thing, you've obviously been to sporting events, interjecting, trying to shed, for lack of a better word, the America thing.
Mm-hmm.
Challenge, I think. What do you think? Because I think there's things that go on overseas that would make the game better here a lot. For example, how about grabbing a ball and just kicking around on the street because we got the pay-for-play thing, which is literally the worst thing that holds this game back.
Yeah.
It's pathetic and it breaks my heart. We didn't have that when I was a kid. The town I grew up in, you played the street.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the 70s in Kearney. We played soccer in the street because that was our game.
Yeah.
That was an anomaly. That was like literally one of like 5 towns in the United States in the 70s that did. So, I mean, we've been around. I've been pro sporting events. How do we break the ice, or can we break the ice, or do we need to break the ice? What do you think?
Well, I think what you're saying could happen long term. One thing I always think about is, okay, look at like Major League Baseball. So it's been around since like 1873 or something. So soccer yes, there was definitely soccer around before the 90s. Okay, but when you start looking at it from a standpoint of being marketable, being on TV and a bigger, wider audience, I mean, all that stuff's pretty recent. So I think that we got to give it time, and I think that, okay, it's huge in like high school sports, middle school sports. Katie played her whole life. Thinks she can still play right now. It's a popular sport, but how does that transition into people enjoying watching the sport and enjoying it in that aspect? I think that.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just think that, and until you understand, like how it is in most countries with promotion and relegation and what it means to communities and there's tons of stuff out there to check out, and you can see it, but to see it, they live it, and it's just going to take a while to reverse a lot of those. People have the mentality like, well, I'm going to play football, I'm going to play basketball, and no disrespect to that, but I mean, I just think it's going to take some time.
Right.
But I also think that just spreading, and I just kind of goes back to me saying bringing people to the game, because you never know when somebody might be coming to a game and say, we ought to get little Timmy into soccer instead of, maybe he won't break his neck or something. I don't know.
Right. So, Martina, you're talking about the spontaneity of the music versus the more structure. There's more structure in American sports when it comes to music, in all sports, because I was a band director, and there was a point where you say, okay, you can play music now. So you play your little 10-second blah at the football game, and you have to stop because that's the rules. So culturally speaking, I would love us to be a lot more spontaneous, but it's not going to happen, right? There's a middle ground. If there's people on the other side of that are like, it's got to be spontaneous or else, how do you reach out to that? I mean, what do you need to say to them to say, look, I get it, but this isn't that. This is this, and you can enjoy this for what it is. What do you think?
I think the first thing is actually like you said, bringing people to come to the supporter section, and then you kind of get a feel for how things go. And a lot of the chants in music is based off of fairly known songs.
Right.
So I think that helps a lot as well. I know Sarah's nephew, and they started coming with us to the games, and the boy, he's been to professional events or big events like Bengals and Nashville Titans game, and he said he had more fun at the Louisville City game than he had at the big arena games.
Sure.
And I mean,
It's more of a family atmosphere, and that's like I know everybody, even though I don't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It almost feels like that.
Yeah, it's a family.
Yeah, and that's why I'm hesitant to worry about Division One because of the way Division One is cultivated in this country. But that's another discussion.
Yeah.
We're running late, and it's been wonderful. But I want to give everybody an opportunity here. What we do is let everybody talk about. Just have a moment to discuss anything that they want to discuss because you all were kind enough to. This was this was tremendous. I hope you guys had as much fun
Yeah, this
as we all did. This is
yes.
and I'd love to have you all back. We want to do. I would really after the season's over, have like 20 people and do a pro row rant. And just I mean it would be just a friggin' free for all.
Like I
About
would
it.
7 hours.
Exactly. Like I'm not even
So
kidding.
you're
Like
gonna get Jake Kirkman on that, right?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I want and Jordan and all those guys. And I don't want to do it where we have like Rock'em Sock'em robots in the middle. And if you want to talk, you have to win or something like that. Something like that, or a video game where you do the wrestling thing and you have to win the wrestling match and then you get to talk or something.
Actual wrestling.
Yeah. Well, no.
We can charge for that part of that video.
Right, but please take a minute. Say
We do
whatever
have
you
good party plans. So.
We
We got
have
the food.
$200 worth of Aldi's
Yeah.
finest food. What I would say is, watch any football you can. I've been following it for donkey's years. I think the first game I saw was 1980 when I was 4 or 5. Waterford were in a cup final. We haven't won one since. I would say look beyond the usual stuff. Look to your local teams, but also if you want to look at European football because it's fun, go and follow a team. Enjoy being a fan of a team, but look beyond the obvious as well. So follow your Manchester United or whoever. Follow your Juventus. But also pick a random country, like a friend of mine, Eric Major. Some of you know Eric.
I love Eric. That's a great guy.
He's a big fan of he's got so much knowledge about.
Eric is a
the
wonderful
Maltese
human
League.
being. It's great.
He got so much knowledge about the Maltese League. Pick a random country. Pick Guatemala.
Right.
Find a team there. Buy their T-shirt. Be annoying and obnoxious about. They won this week, but know that
Right.
and connect with something beyond and see if there's anything in their culture that you can bring here. I mean, I tried to bring elements of the Irish here, including the accent, and so many potatoes. But and I'm also bringing stuff back because I'm still in communication with the guys in Waterford. And I had one season I used to write for their program, and
Okay.
my thesis was, what can we take from elsewhere? What can we use to discover what's uniquely ours?
Sure.
And so pick a team in New Zealand and follow them and buy their shirt and give them a few pennies. Better give them the money than Manchester City. They do not need it. But,
Right. You hear that?
support somebody else and make a connection between here and Ireland. Waterford will take your money slowly. Or here and Slovenia, or here and Thailand. Doesn't matter. Follow somebody. Bring that here. That's my
You're
rant.
ready to say something. I'm sorry. Okay. And I want to say thank you, first of all, for being part of this deal to get it rolling. That was, I mean, it took.
There's a lot of us.
I know that, but you're still a part of it, and I appreciate you doing that. You're a great dude. I've totally enjoyed getting to know you. I think you're a wonderful person. You bring an intellect to this and an enjoyment to this that we need to hear. So I really thank you for that. And I've been doing that with Division IV soccer in this country. I try to follow it very.
Who do you follow?
Atlantic City now.
Oh, nice.
The Aces and Aces up, and I try to follow that. I mean, Charlottesville folded sadly,
Yeah.
but I mean, like trying to keep up with. But even like the USL teams, Madison Forward, these folks are Tormentus, which is a tremendous organization. Tremendous is a tremendous organization in League One, and following them and because we bottom up, we're not. At some point, we have to build from bottom up.
Yeah.
Top down has gotten us a really crappy national team. Top down has gotten us a Division I soccer team, the Division I league that people laugh at. Sorry, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it to be mean.
No.
I'm saying it because it's a fact.
Yeah. It's the same in Ireland, sadly. I mean, one of the difficulties we have here is we've got American soccer is all about money right now.
Yes, it is. It's about
The
making
Gold
the
Cup
profit.
takes place here. All these international friendlies take place here, and the US soccer is getting bank on that. And I don't begrudge them making some money, but it's all about the money, and the money needs to be spread around.
Yes.
And we've got different problem in Ireland. Everything's about England. Get the players to
Get the
England.
players to
to England.
Scotland.
And that's not helping anybody.
No.
We need to be looking from the grassroots up. And part of that is having a good D1. Whether there's relegation or
Sure,
not,
absolutely. You're
whether
right.
it's a private company
It's
or
a
not,
part
we
of it.
need that.
It's a component, but
But
it's
it's
not
only
the
one.
absolute. Like I said, a building can't stand without a foundation.
Yeah.
Martine, please take a minute. Talk about whatever you want.
And I'm just happy to be here. Happy.
We're happy you're here, man.
Happy.
I love seeing you at games. I mean, you know that. I mean, and your wife. I mean, just like I said, I love seeing the joy in your face. I love seeing the joy in your face with her with you, and it's really it's one of those things that I look forward to. Please, I'll continue.
Thank you. And I praise all the efforts that the original, people that worked hard to put everything together and establish that foundation, which has significantly grown. I mean, we're gonna have a stadium next year.
It's amazing.
Unbelievable.
And
An amazingly beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
It's not,
And it's not even a fanboy thing.
no, it's gorgeous.
It's unbelievable.
It's objective.
Objectively, it is absolutely beautiful.
And the effect it's already had on Butchertown is unreal. Like, you can't even buy real estate there anymore, I don't think.
Right. The financial
Yeah,
aspect.
I
Absolutely. Please continue.
yeah, when we were looking and we ended up going right out of town, it's crazy.
I was just gonna flip it, but
I was going to take a hammer to the wall.
But this team, it means so much to people.
Right.
It means a lot to me, and having new friends and relationships. And if it wasn't for the team, I'd probably just do my 8 to 5, and that's it.
Hear that.
And this has been very important in me and Sarah's life, and this is pretty much what we're looking for. Because other than that, it'd just be work, really.
Right, and see, you mentioned something that's very, very important is the connections, and we talk about this almost every show, is the connections that we've made that we would have never made.
Yeah, cross country too.
Yeah, absolutely. The connections that we made with people that have enriched our lives that we would have never done. And there are people out there that are just top down people that are like, well, it doesn't really matter that much, does it? Kiss my ass. I don't care. Yeah, I'll put this. I can't stand when people. And I grew up 3 miles from the towers. Okay, so I'm very familiar with being in a large environment that was only professional teams. Like when Cincinnati talks about being big, don't bore me. Okay, but to label this irrelevant. Or not just, we were talking about Tormentas, talking about teams like that, labeling that irrelevant because not as many people show up is ignorant. It's ignorant. It's not even, it's sad. It's just, we're so wrapped up. Sean Reynolds was on this the second week. And he said, we are wrapped up and just enamored with the big party. And it's sad, But I want to thank you for a couple of reasons. Number one, doing the podcast. You didn't have to do that. And that's a step out because number one, you put yourself like we do. You put yourself out there for people to go, man, that sucks. You guys suck. And I don't even understand what you're saying. I mean, I understand. They say it to me because I'm from Jersey. I'm talking. But you put yourself out there for that. And you didn't have to do that, right? So as a supporter, thank you for that, and thank you for your sincerity for coming over. Right? Really, really appreciate that, and really love you to death. Thank you. Please keep coming. You're a decent guy, John. So go ahead, share a moment with the adoring. Can you do this in a wrestling announcer voice, please?
oh,
Please, you have to do this in like a wrestler. Oh, look at him with the water. Please, can you do this? Is going to be the greatest moment of my life.
Like Triple H.
I'm going to marry this moment. If you can do this, I will marry this moment. Go ahead.
I'm supposed to do this whole thing in a wrestling.
Whatever you want. Go ahead.
If I was doing, let's see. Ladies and gentlemen, Louisville City live from Butchertown.
That's good. That's good.
That's what I'm looking forward to. I really, I'm just glad to be here too. Thanks for having me on. I had a great time, and I really enjoy. I'm getting more into podcast as I don't know, break out of the shell that I've been stuck in since '94. So, I enjoy listening to any Louisville City content.
I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I've
Sure.
asked this I've asked all the capos this, so I'm going to ask you this the same thing. Would you consider yourself more of an extrovert or an introvert before you started doing this? I mean, I know you do the announcing thing, and the announcing thing is okay. You would assume that a person is an extrovert, but if it's a job, like people can be extroverted if it's their job to do so, and in their personal lives, retract. So what do you? I mean, would you say that in a general aspect you're an extrovert? Like I asked Katie that, and she was like, "I'm an introvert," and it shocked the hell out of me because if she gets on the podium, she goes nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Why? The same thing. So what would you say?
Well, I'd say I don't. As far as saying that it's kind of like a job or something, I don't look at it that way.
Sure.
If that would be the extrovert, I guess that's what I would be. But I mean, like sometimes when I'm like working on a TFL till 3 a.m., I feel like. For me, like I think if you ever get to the point where if you're not enjoying anything, why are you doing it? So like one thing I've always kind of enjoyed what I've done in my career, and it's kept me in my career, and it didn't go down the broadcasting route, even though I did all that kind of stuff. So like I think you just have to enjoy what you do, and I enjoy what I do and being a part of all this, and like making the connections and meeting everybody I've met in this room. And
did you know Martin before you got here?
No,
That's what I'm saying.
we just met live.
There you go. Live.
I don't know why I get so loud. Sorry. I forget y'all wearing the earphones. Like, yeah. But
that's okay. Whatever pain my ears are going through, you have no idea. You're banging them for the rest of my life.
Yeah, constantly a rhythm.
Bang them hard.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't. No. I'm not.
He is so sorry. We're all delighted.
But
I'm sorry.
But let's just keep this thing going. The stadium's going to open, and that doesn't mean that's the end of it. We got to just continue.
Yeah.
And I mean, like when I say keep telling people, I'm not saying that because it's like I really just want to sell out every game or something. I'm not thinking it like that. I'm saying just let them discover the sport, because I discovered it through. I mean, I think I played soccer as like a little kid, like very young. But I mean, I discovered the actual game through playing the game, basically,
Right.
and then just going to see it live, and it's just So I don't know.
Well, first of all, and a couple things for you as well. Thank you so much for. Look, the most important thing is thank you for taking part, and I sincerely mean this. Being a capo is not easy.
Yeah.
And I know people, and one of the reasons we wanted to do this is to make sure that people understand that people are really putting themselves out there. And you open yourself up, you're performing, being in the arts and stuff like that. When you perform, you are putting yourself out there to be criticized.
Yeah.
Even though you're putting your best foot forward, people sometimes they don't realize that. And they'll be crappy to you. And you can't control that because you love what you're doing. So as a person that's involved and that's involved in being part of that, thank you so much for doing that.
Well, thank you for putting up to every time that I've been like one more time, 2 more times, or it was the very end of it, and like one more.
Johnny, I try. Look, I come from 35 years of marching band and drum corps, at competitive stuff at a national level. It is very hard sometimes for me to step back from that. I try. I try. Like I jumped up. I said, Michael Baldwin watches this, I think, and Michael, he's such a wonderful guy. I need to get him on here. But when you're a band director, like I did the band directing thing, and you're playing competitive marching stuff, your horns need to be angled at the crowd. Sometimes a couple of the capos will angle their megaphones to one side, and they won't to the other. And all I'm saying is that everybody over here can't hear you. There's 2 people this way, and there's no people this way.
I am to the first base.
And I said to him, God, and I felt bad because immediately I went into band director mode for about 3 seconds.
And then
I'm sorry, I can't help it.
Job too.
Right, and this thing.
Straight up.
When you, Glenn, I love you to death. Glenn, I love you. This thing, when you do like this, I'm pretty sure that the Pirates aren't buying tickets.
Yeah.
But keep doing you. Keep doing you. I'm not.
If you see parrots, you need to drink less.
Or I need to drink more to see the other birds, the other animals that that are native to Louisville air.
Geese.
Cardinals.
So I try not to do that, and I apologize if I do. I apologize, but I just want everybody to hear you because I know what it takes to do that, and that's why I apologize. But thank you for everything. I'm going to ask Mr. Derek if he has any rim shots for tonight.
I don't necessarily have a rim shot, but I wanted to name drop the Black Sheep and the Sheep's Pen, which is our
Amen.
newest
Good for them.
supporter section. However, the thing that I want to introduce is they are throwing a foot golf scramble to help them fund their section. And I forget the date. It's sometime in October. If you want any more information on it, I can provide that. If you know Eric Belmonte on Facebook, you can hit him up as well. If you've never played foot golf, it is hilarious. It's really fun, and it's not that expensive. I think they're charging $40 per team. So, and it's a 4-man team, so it'd be $10 a player.
Eric Belmonte, a future guest. He doesn't know it yet. I mean, we're going to carry your ass here.
Yeah.
We are. I don't just be on the show, Eric. Just be on it, so we don't have to go to your house and pick you up and carry you and humiliate you in front of your wonderful girlfriend. So
come play foot golf. Come. The Groove Machine's going to have a team. I've got 2 players on the team right now, so I got 2 spots.
there you go,
Come on.
All right.
Matthew.
Well, this may take you back a little bit, but I think it actually is timely. Beverly Hills 90210,
Jeez.
FC Cincinnati 0.
Very good. The best reason in the world to go to Cincinnati.
Oh my God. Anyway, a couple of parting things that I definitely wanted to talk about tonight. Number one, thank you guys. Period. I mean, and everybody that's been on this so far. The whole idea of this, and I keep saying it every show, it's not about us. It is about trying to find a place for the entire Louisville supporter community to come together to learn about everybody and to have a good time. Because going to soccer games is about having a good time. And engaging with each other is about finding the positives in what we do. And, we can focus on bad things or we can focus on good things. In the 15 minutes we get on this planet, please find some time for the good things, okay? Because one day you're going to – look, you kids out there, I don't know how many young people watch this. How old are you, Martin?
31.
30. You're going to wake up one day, you're going to be 54, okay? Like my big ass. And you're going to sit there, and I don't want anybody to wake up when they're 54 saying, gee, I really wish I had focused on something else. Like, I don't know, having fun, because you just don't get that opportunity that much in this world. And, I know that there's a lot going on around and everything, and I respect that. I totally respect that. And I respect everybody's opinion. But at some point, you have to turn around and say, how much is the world dictating your life? And Louisville City is one chance for you to have a good time. And that's really important to me. And I guess the second one's kind of technical. It's we're talking about Louisville City and we're talking about the pyramid. We're getting into the Louisville Division 4 stuff. I really take shots at MLS sometimes because, I'm not a fan. I am not a fan of MLS because of the business model. But you know what? Some of you pro road guys are getting on my friggin' nerves because if you think that we're just going to blow everything up for you, so we can give your team that plays in a football stadium that fits 300 people can play in Division 1, you're out of your friggin' mind. All right, you're out of your mind. All right. The whole idea is finding some balance here. Listening to the other side and understanding where the guys that are big fans of MLS are coming from. Let me tell you what MLS does do. Their supporter groups. We made a laugh about Chivas 2.0.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. Those people are engaged in that community, and those people are raising money for people that need it. Okay. So what, we're supposed to shut that down because you want your Division 4 team that has 300 people showing up because you want a chance at Division 1? I mean, it's stupid. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I am all for an open pyramid. I am all for promotion relegation. I want it to happen in this country. But you have to understand that there's balance. It's going to have to come from conversing and finding to some sort of consensus on how we can move forward with this. Any of us, I'm sure I'm just speaking for everybody here. I think we deserve to be in Division I based on performance because we've proven it. 4 years in a row, we've been in the freaking conference championship. What the hell else do we need to do? What else do we need to do? I mean, we got a shot at being in the 5th year again. So, but at the same time, we understand the business model. We know what MLS is all about. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy what you have. We have something wonderful here. We got 6 people here that would have never met, never hung out, never enjoyed each other's company for 3 hours, and it went by like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay? Would have never done that if it wasn't for this team. It doesn't matter that with the initials of the league, it doesn't matter. So please, temper your arguments and have conversations and listen to each other. Because there's the reality's in the middle, like in everything else in this world. The reality's in the middle. I'm sorry I got a little wound up there.
All right.
All right? So this has been a wonderful time. We're going to do this again. And you guys are all going to be back. Like I said, there's going to be a show with the super rant, the super pro row rant. And I'm not kidding. I'm going to have like 20 people. We're going to do it someplace. It's just going to be a brawl.
Make sure they all go to the right entrance.
Yeah, make sure. Martine, John, thank you so much. Everybody, we're going to be back next Thursday. The only guaranteed Davina Vallows will be here, and we're going to enjoy ourselves. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
And we're still on, aren't we?